ESPN special presentations.
We are the spirits of the Forum. Bring us the cup. Remember what we have done. Join us in sport's most storied lineage. Remember those who have led us. Bring us the cup. Remember who we are, what we have accomplished. Remember who you represent. Receive the torch. Join us that generations may seek to emulate. Accept your challenge. Fulfill our destiny. Bring us the cup. The team wasn't even here on Monday night, but over 17,000 were on hand in the Forum. And after the game, they were on the street, St. Catharines, to celebrate. Tonight, they'll be inside because the Montreal Canadiens could take the big skate with the Stanley Cup. Hello, everybody. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, and welcome. Stanley Cup Final continues here at the Forum in Montreal. The question is, can the Kings stop it at least for one game?
Well, Gary, their playoff ship is officially taking on water. The first order of business for the LA Kings in this hockey game has to be getting the puck by Patrick Roy. He has been sensational and will be the MVP if the Canadiens clinch. How confident is he? Watch what he did right there to Tomas Sandstrom in Game 4 after making a save on him. He is that confident. The LA Kings have to drive the net. They have not done that well since Game 1. Worst case scenario for the LA Kings, even if they don't score, they will be able to draw penalties. They have to drive the net to try to take something away from Patrick Roy.
Every game now is a must game for the Los Angeles Kings, and if they don't get it here, it is all over. We'll be back. Will it be the night? We'll see. The Kings and the Canadiens coming up.
ESPN's presentation of the Stanley Cup Finals is brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By the new Subaru Impreza. Subaru, what to drive. And by Canon cameras. So advanced, they're simple.
Welcome back. We'll get to the Montreal Forum in just a moment. John Saunders along with Jim Schoenfeld and John Davidson. And Wayne Gretzky has done everything he can possibly do to bring LA the cup. The rest of the team needs to pick it up.
Yeah, Wayne's a playmaker. He's done his job. His job is to get the puck to the dangerous players. Unfortunately for the Kings, their gunners are shooting blank. So I expect Wayne to have another big game. The guys that have to come up and start scoring some goals, Thomas Sandstrom, Luc Robitaille, and Jari Kurri.
To me, when you look ahead to this game, fellas, it's a game which Montreal can smell. When they had the Islanders in this position, they knocked them right down early and then kicked them once they got them down. Los Angeles, the two home games were very slow starting. They came back, ended up tying the games, but lost in overtime. For the Kings to do anything, they have to survive what I think will be an onslaught by Montreal in the first period.
Yeah, the last two games down 3-0, down 2-0. They got overtime, but after that, it was Patrick Roy. We'll find out what happens in Game 5. Back to the Montreal Forum to Gary and Bill.
John, thank you very much, and welcome, everybody. And will this be it? A full house, rocking and rolling already. The goaltenders, as they have been. Kelly Rudy will make the start in net. His Los Angeles Kings 13-10 in the playoffs. He has been in almost all of them. Those are the numbers for this series. At the other end, Patrick Roy, nothing short of spectacular. #1 in goals against and save percentage for the entire playoffs, and even better numbers here in this one. Ready to go. Kirk Muller, Jari Kurri out to take the face-off, and Game 5 is underway with the Montreal Canadiens needing one more win to take home the Stanley Cup. Marty McSorley kicks it in. Jari Kurri. Kurri in his own end lumps it up center ice, and Bellows chasing it down. So it'll be Kurt Muller working on this line. Bellows with him. Knocked away from Muller. Marty McSorley will take it in behind his own net. Hard around. Right on the far side. Los Angeles dumping up ice. Warren Reichel got it ahead. Conacher shoots it in. Kurri, Conacher, Reichel on this line. Cleared around by John LeClaire. The star-studded hero.
I think you would have to say that the #1 priority for the LA Kings is avoiding what they have done in the first 5 minutes of games 2, 3, and 4. And that is giving the Montreal Canadiens and Jacques Demers' guys 2-on-1. They haven't really been burned by it. The LA Kings have given so many odd man rushes to the Montreal Canadiens and have yet to really be burned early, but that's living very dangerously. Barry Melrose kept his guys away from the media today, trying something different. They did not have a morning skate. They did not practice yesterday when they got here, so they are going from game 3, or game 4 at least, right into game 5.
Both of these teams have seen the defense and goaltenders get the job done. They have scored 11 goals in this series for each, but the 3 overtime wins the difference for Montreal. Down low, Wayne Gretzky, back shot, Granato, and a save by Waugh. Tony Granato was set up by Wayne Gretzky. Ronan knocked down by Zhitnik, cleared back to Brisebois. Patrice Brisebois sends it in. Dave Taylor with a bad shoulder is still out for Los Angeles. Charlie Huddy is going to play.
Believe it or not, Charlie Huddy came out and warmed up. Remember, 3rd-degree sprain of the medial collateral ligament. That's a big-time sprain, but he had a special knee brace shipped in, took the warm-up. He looked awkward, Gary, but he is in the lineup.
On the far side, Brunet and Blake were going at it. Brisebois clears it off the boards, comes loose to Gretzky at center. Gretzky averaging 25 minutes per game in this series final against Montreal. Benoit Brunet pinned up by Tomas Sandstrom. Sandstrom out there with Jari Kurri right now in Robitaille. They get the whistle against the boards for the draw. We are just underway. First period here in Montreal.
Sandstrom has to produce for the LA Kings to win. Luc Robitaille, 63 goals in the regular season. They need him. And of course, Wayne Gretzky has to weave his magic once again to avoid elimination. Gretzky to Granato, a shot that Patrick Waugh was ready for. How many shots has he not been ready for in this series? I can't remember, but a couple. Wayne continues to produce a dozen points in the last 6 games. And the fact that Sandstrom has not scored, I think, is magnified by the fact that he plays with Wayne Gretzky. It's one thing to go 4 games without a goal, but when you're Wayne Gretzky's regular right winger, that is a long time.
Jari Kurri stays out on the ice with Robitaille on one of the wings. Cleared back to Charlie Huddy, who's out there. Gary Shuchuk, the other wing on this line. Behind the net, cutting in was Shuchuk. Taken away and cleared up for Danfus. Danfus drops it in the middle. Canadiens back on the attack. LeBeau on this line with Danfus and Mike Keane. Huddy and Danfus go to the corner. Sador, LeBeau, all there. Kicking at it, Huddy, Keane, Sador's down on the ice. Keane knocks it away from him. Keane trying to center, wants a wraparound shot, spins it off the side of the net. Played by Jari Kurri. Kurri will get it up. The Kings have had tons of scoring chances in this series. The save made by Waugh. Down goes Shuchuk, but they've not been able to convert.
And even there, Gary couldn't get to the rebound. 3 Montreal Canadiens back all around Gary Shuchuk.
Keane able to send it in. Shots in this series, 143 to 119 in favor of Los Angeles. Over to Granato. Granato down the right side, looking to the middle. Centering pass by Donnelly as it was behind him. Held in by Mark Hardy. Near side, Granato to Donnelly. Tipped away from him in the centering pass. Good play by Matthew Schneider. He got a piece of that. Gary Lehman to the blue line, and Lehman the shot. That's deflected, blocked behind the net. Held on to Gilbert Dion. Dion goes back to the Oderline. Oderline couldn't tee it up. Kelly Rudy had to kick it away. Good pressure being put on here now by Montreal. Dion going behind the net. McSorley. Dion suddenly finds himself alone. McSorley came out in front. Oderline's got it with Donnelly. Back for Dion. Dion desperately wanted to drag that out front and shoot it, but tried to go before he had it. Attempt on the kick pass comes free to Granato. Granato looking up ice. Shuchuk, Carson. Jimmy Carson in the lineup again, off for Donnelly. Donnelly, Canadiens are changing it up behind the play. They get it on people back now. Waugh will hang on as he pokes it away to Dion. Dion clears it around and over Blake's head. This will be chased down and will be an icing call on the touch-up by Zhitnik. For him in Los Angeles, no score.
That's Kings coach Barry Melrose, who held his team back at the hotel today. No morning skate. I asked him why before the game, Gary and Bill, and he said it's simple. I just wanted my team to get away from the media, get their minds on what they have to do tonight. Gary?
They've got to win. That's it, period. Real simple at this point. Wayne Gretzky out, Tomas Sandstrom, and Warren Reichel on the line with him. Gretzky on the face-off, lost that one, cleared out by Guy Carbonneau. Carbonneau has become very close to Wayne Gretzky.
Well, he has, but you know what, Gary? Jacques Demers has not disrupted his lineup and his line changes to get him out there. Regular shifts in games 2, 3, and 4, Wayne has had 78 of them. Carbonell's only been out there 45 of those 78. That tells you when it's convenient, Demers will match. When it isn't convenient, he will not disrupt.
That too has worked. Puck freed up in the corner. Canadiens trying to get that odd man rush going. Ronan drops it to Brunet. Brunet back for Ronan. Never got a stick on it. Partially hit. Kelly Rudy blocks that one. On the return shot. Held in. Brisebois in front. Ronan jammed up, knocked down by Huddy. Huddy's taking his shift with that knee brace, and he did not get that brace on until warm-ups to this game because it arrived so late here this afternoon. Reichel clears it out. J.J. Daniel goes back to get it. Shots 2-2 early on. We are 4.5 into the first period. LeClaire avoiding Blake that time, but the puck goes over the glass and into the seats. El Morganti also joining us here in Montreal. El?
Well, Gary, the Canadiens don't want to show any overconfidence. In fact, they have an itinerary for tomorrow. A 10 a.m. flight to L.A. They don't expect to use it. The cold numbers are, when they have a chance to clinch at the Forum since being in the NHL, they're 11-1. Those are pretty awesome numbers for the Kings to overcome. Gary and Bill?
No team has ever won more championships in any major sport than these Canadiens. They are going for their 24th Stanley Cup on this, the 100th anniversary of the Cup. Somehow the great theater of sports comes into play more often than not, and it certainly does here. Blake brings it in. Blake trying to drop it back. Conacher room. Conacher the move. Knocked down. Penalty coming up. Delayed call. Deflected through the crease, and there's the whistle. And the Los Angeles Kings will get the first power play chance of this game. You take a look at Terry Gregson, his second year of working the Stanley Cup Finals, the referee for tonight.
Well, one thing the LA Kings will not do, they might have changed their game day routine in the morning, but Barry Melrose will not change his team's style, which is attack all the way. Number 4, Rob Blake, already skated to the right out of your screen. That means he's in deep offensively. Pat Conacher with a real good move at the blue line to get around his guy, and Matt Schneider had to come up and face him. And when you have to move towards the guy that's coming at you, you almost have to stick your leg out. Schneider didn't have a choice because of a good move by Conacher.
So Schneider's gone. Jacques Demers. Montreal Canadiens are going to be short-handed here. 4:35 the time of the penalty. The Kings need their power play to be more effective than it has been thus far in this series if they're going to pick up a W.
Well, it started out fine. They scored 2 in the first game, but now they are 1 for their last 18 in the power play, and that is a complete reversal because the Canadiens are now the hot team on the power.
Let's see what happens with it. McSorley couldn't hold it in on the return pass to the point. First power play of the game. During these playoffs for the Kings, overall, they have gone 22 for 129 on the power play. Sandstrom leaves it. Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky. Desjardins, the poke check and the hit. He's pinning Gretzky up behind the net, just lets him go. McSorley back to Tomas Sandstrom. Sandstrom, they've got Robitaille in front of the net. Tomas Sandstrom waiting, a minute 23. They want to be patient on the power play. They get Gretzky up circle-wise. Shot McSorley wide of the net. Rebound off the back of it. Tomas Sandstrom back to Gretzky. Robitaille in front. Robitaille batted twice in the air. Kurt Muller's got it. Muller clears the zone.
Gosh, Gary, they were patient and cool. If they can get the puck down low to Wayne Gretzky, something is always going to happen for the Kings. And the Canadiens don't cheat to Wayne Gretzky. But you know what? He's not playing as close to the net as he usually does. When they're in their box, he moves to the side.
McSorley's shot is blocked to the corner by Guy Carbonneau. Kurt Muller again clears the zone. 49 seconds remaining on the power play chance. No score, 14-10 to go in the first period. McSorley. Marty McSorley, every time the puck is touched here, these Canadian fans on the front of their seats are up and out of them. They are ready for the big party here in Montreal tonight. Donnelly, but both these teams know, and the fans know, because of the tightness of these games with 3 overtimes, it is far from over. 27 left on the power play.
Well, we pointed out in Game 4 that the Montreal Canadiens lead in just about every second number, every category of second numbers, such as block shots, and Guy Carbonneau has led the way in this entire series. Block shot number 51 for the Montreal Canadiens came on the penalty kill. Here's the big shot, walking into it. Marty McSorley with his big blast, and Carbonneau was able to get his stick in front of it and deflected wide. The LA Kings have blocked 23, and Guy Carbonneau and Montreal Canadiens have blocked 51 shots. That is part of why they have been so terrific on their penalty killing.
Amazing, isn't it?
And Carbonneau, you think Carbonneau's out of the play, too. So you wind up, you take your big wind-up, which is your most time-consuming wind-up, or you can't underestimate his quickness still because he almost always gets a piece of it.
All Power play still underway here for Los Angeles with 23 seconds left to go on it. Kelly Hrudey holding it up behind the net. Blocked by Brunet. Brunet short-handed. Muller racing in, went by it. Blake has got it. 10 left on the power play. Blake to Granato. Granato back for Blake. Hit the side of the net with it. Blake ended up down low. Couldn't control the puck, and J.J. Daniel clears it, and that will do it. Los Angeles 0 for 1 on the power play and 3 for 23 in this series. Back to center ice. Dumped in. Blake's got it. Blake drops it off. Canadiens are now back to full strength. Intercepted by Bellows. Bellows bangs it off the boards. Kelly Hrudey holding it up behind the net. Jitnik coming back to get it. Jitnik up for Reichel. Ahead for Shuchuk. Shuchuk with Curry and Blake. Trying to create the odd man. Can't do it. Canadiens get back at the line. Shuchuk, his shot blocked into the corner. Held onto by Yari Curry as he swept it in deep to Blake. Blake trying to center and hit the net again. Rebound LeBeau. LeBeau up along the boards. Played out of the zone down Foose. Wide side Bellows. Bellows coming in front. Shot. Bellows saved. Hrudey. Rebound kicked out deep. And Shuchuk clears.
Bellows had a 2-on-1. Eric Desjardins went with him all the way. Good shot selection, though, by Brian Bellows. He is the leading goal scorer. Desjardins was on his backhand. You might as well shoot.
Bellows just swings it in. Canadiens and Kings both change it up on the fly. 12:26 left here in the first. 3-3 the shots. No score. Redliner by Marty McSorley. Patrick Waugh dropped it off. Lyle Odeline's got it. Odeline up for Dion. Gilbert Dion. Intercepted and sent right back in by Tony Granato. Granato getting plenty of ice time. Carson is out there with him now on this line.
We kind of figured Jimmy Carson would get some playing time because he played well.
Shot save made by Kelly Hrudey on Gary Lehman. Conacher avoiding the hit of DiPietro. Pat Conacher coming around the net, leaves it for Marty McSorley. Up, Dion tried to block it, could not. Could have been played, so they wave off the iceman. Waugh back to get it. Matthew Snyder, Odeline up at center. They try and catch the Kings in a change. Odeline jams it in. He avoided the hit that time of Robitaille after he got rid of it. Charlie Huddy doesn't avoid. DiPietro center. Dion shot, saved by Hrudey. Bounced off the stick. Perfect positioning, though, by Kelly Hrudey. Tomas Sandstrom to Gretzky. Gretzky, Sandstrom, and Robitaille. Sandstrom, it got caught in the skates of Gary Lehman. Up for DiPietro, knocked away Sador. DiPietro gets it back, but he's alone. Waiting for help. He's got Dion cutting in. Played back Sador. Sador, Gilbert Dion gives him the bump, knocked him down. Dion got the puck. DiPietro back in the corner for Ed Ronan. Ronan dumps it. Charlie Huddy around the boards. Robitaille and Brisebois. Brisebois held it in. Dion couldn't get it. Ronan does. Lost it. Cleared out. Montreal will get back on side. Again, changes going on. J.J. Daniel back. Tipped in. Canadiens change it up.
Boy, Charlie Huddy is laboring, but he's still working at getting up on the play. You know, the gap is the distance between the defenseman and the forwards. If Charlie Huddy can't keep that gap small by getting up close to his forwards on the rush, Montreal's going to be able to counterattack on his side, and he's really laboring.
He heads to the bench right now. Carbonneau for Ronan. Ronan kicking at it, had Blake in front of him. Banged into Carbonneau, but Blake was there. Round the boards for Donnelly. Donnelly with Corey Millen and Gary Shuchuk. Lines continually being changed here in the first period as far as Los Angeles and personnel are concerned. Darren Melrose mixing and matching. Leclerc intercepts and sends it in. Hrudey gets back to get it. No score. Game rolling along with 10-12 up to go in the first. Free at center. Matthew Snyder comes back to get it. And again, the Kings change it up. Snyder from his own end to Bellows. Bellows, Kirk Muller in front of him. Leclerc on the right wing side. Leclerc going to the corner. Dumped by Yari Curry. Leclerc went over to get it. Got stood up. The battle. Loose puck. Goes free. Hardy had it and lost it. Leclerc got him. Muller shot. Saved by Hrudey. Kirk Muller open. Kelly Hrudey making some big saves early on here. There have been some good scoring chances for the Canadiens. Near side, Granato. Montreal changing it up on the fly. Blake. Crowd applauds as Granato got hit by Keane behind the play. Gary Curry brings it in. Curry drops it. Robitaille. Stick picked up by Don Poots. Back to the point. Penalty coming up. Delayed call is going to be on the Canadiens. McSorley. Extra skater is out there. Gretzky centering pass. Knocked down. Held on to Mark Hardy. Still a delayed call here. Extra skater. Hardy shot. Tipped wide of the net by Robitaille. Keane will touch it up, and there's the whistle. Another power play coming for the Kings.
Well, the better scoring chances have belonged to the Montreal Canadiens. Watch Kirk Muller, number 11, move back out to the faceoff dot and away from the two Kings that are in front of the net. The Kings are double covering in front, and that's why nobody could get to Kirk Muller. Right up off of Kelly Hrudey's shoulder.
And a penalty charging on Keane. Second power play of the game for the Kings. No score here in the first. Gretzky's got it. Gretzky, they'll try and set Robitaille up in front as he's banging away in front of the net. And I mean banging away. He and Desjardins. Gretzky in. Gretzky, the shot. Tipped wide. Robitaille was there. Tomas Sandstrom trying to get it back to him. Gretzky. Minute 34 in the advantage for the Kings. McSorley back at the point. Gretzky in front for Robitaille. Blocked again behind the net. J.J. Daniel got that one. Brunet knocked down by Sador. Gretzky, where he loves to work from, where he's made history, right there behind the net. McSorley sneaks in near side. Gretzky started for him. Bounces it off Waugh. Gretzky over to get it in the corner. Back to McSorley. Minute 11 on the power play. Gretzky, McSorley, both back. Now they regain their positioning as Sador comes back out. There's Sador. Over to McSorley. Gretzky. Gretzky looking down low. Robitaille shot save made by Waugh. He knew where that was going to come.
The LA Kings are doing something different on their power play. They're overloading right in front of Patrick Waugh. They always have had one guy there in this power play, either Robitaille or Sandstrom. But that last chance, Robitaille quickly moved to the front and they created a 2-on-1 on Eric Desjardins. That's what the Kings are going to obviously try to do. Take some of Patrick Waugh's sight lines away, overload in front. The pretty plays aren't working. Get the ugly ones going.
Odeline was able to clear the puck. 30 seconds left on the power play for the Kings. Their second of the game. Lyle Odeline to stand up on Tony Granato. Matthew Snyder, the hard wraparound. Blake near side holds it in. Blake dumps it down low. Carson out. Carson right there working the power play. Finally got a chance after sitting up 6 in a row in the last game. Carson was back and he played well. Kings down to 10 on the power play. Near side, Shipnick the shot. Deflected right in on Waugh by Carson and he made the save again. In the corner, Ronan does battle with Schneider. Penalty is over. The Kings are 0 for 2 and a penalty coming in Los Angeles. Tony Granato took the skates up from under Matthew Schneider.
Never fails. The LA Kings come close on their power play and now they have to kill one. Tony Granato was just getting a little frustrated trying to get the puck away from Matt Schneider and pull his feet out from under him. And you know, Gary, you have to think that the lead is important for the LA Kings. When Montreal has the lead, at least they don't have to stray from their game plan. And in the last 3 games, the LA Kings have only led for 10 minutes and 15 seconds. 3 games.
And the team that scores first is 1, period. Breeze wide, his own end. Pat Conacher poked away. Conacher trying to get it back, couldn't. Reichel got dumped by Brisebois. Short-handed effort. LeBeau, Danfus. Danfus in. Danfus on the power play. Shot was blocked. Puck rolls up the boards. Bellows holds it in. Bellows shot blocked. Kicked ahead. Danfus. Bellows got him down. Had no angle. Bellows back. And it comes out of the zone.
He made a blind pass assuming that Eric Desjardins was back in the point and he wasn't there.
Desjardins had tried to sneak in. Montreal on the power play, changing up here with 1:04 left on it.
It's amazing when that goal is wide open, how it tends to act as a magnet, even for the defender, and everybody was edging towards it.
You could be at the other goal line, you'd still try and move in. Muller gets hit in the face, no call as Huddy got the stick up on him. Back for Schneider. Schneider drops it, Bellows, Muller had it blocked. Charlie Huddy clears it out of the zone. A medial collateral ligament problem generally keeps athletes out of work for about 6 weeks. He's been out for 1 day.
Well, he's been out for 1 game, but he turned 34 last week in the middle of this series, so his conditioning isn't even a problem. He hasn't skated for 4 days.
Schneider tried to drop it in. J.J. Daniel steps up. 24 left on the Canadiens' advantage. There's Muller. Muller for Dion, but it hit the side of the net and went behind it. Taken by Matthew Schneider. Schneider looking as Brisebois with him. Schneider's shot deflected off Danfus high. Huddy goes over to get it. Clears it out. And only 10 seconds left on the Los Angeles penalty. So the Montreal Canadiens, whose power play has not exactly sparkled in the playoffs, 14 for 79. They are now 14 for 80. Kirk Muller over to get it. Waters the hit. We're back to even strength.
But they're looking at recent history, which says 3 of the last 8 power plays they have converted on. That's what is important to the Canadiens.
Taken by Waters back in his own end. No score. Hit by Leclerc. Lehman. Can it be Leclerc setting up another goal? Shot? Yes! Paul DiPietro!
what a hit by John LeClair. He wiped out Tim Waters. Good things happen when you hit deep in the zone. Tim Waters went to LeClair to try and tie him up, and nobody could get to Gary Lehman. Give Lehman a lot of credit. He didn't panic. He didn't try the sharp angle shot. He waited for DiPietro to get in place. Waters down. Lehman with the puck. Waiting. Here comes his guy now. Paul DiPietro followed Shuchuk as Shuchuk moved towards LeClair. No mistake. No mistake at all for Paul DiPietro. There is Gary Lehman in the doghouse, in the playoffs, out of the stands, and into the lineup this series. And he made a terrific play on that one.
The Canadiens, when they've scored first, they've won. They lead 1-0. John LeClair already has 3 game-winning goals this year. Down first. Save, Rudy. Rebound, kicked away. Conacher's got it. Right off the face-off. Blake coming the other way, sends it into the corner. LeClair, 2 consecutive overtime game-winning goals in the last 2 games. Helped set up this one. And it is now a 1-0 Montreal lead as they go for the cup.
You know what's interesting about LeClair's assist on that goal? And I don't even know if he touched the puck, but he should get credit for an assist. He only had 2 points in this round. Both of them were the overtime goals. No assist until that one.
Keane to LeBeau. Knocked away from him to Blake. 15-10 the time of the goal. DiPietro gets his 7th of the playoffs, his first of this series. Lehman and LeClair pick up the assists. Jitnik comes to center. Sends it in, blocked. Keane's got it. Keane taken down at center. Good play by Alexei Jitnik. Jitnik back in. But so are the Canadiens. Waugh knocks it away. Jitnik again trying to center. Had it blocked. Comes back to the point. Huddy trying to send it in. And, of course, it hit Guy Carbonneau. Talk about magnets. 3:30 left to go in this first period. 8-7 the shots on goal right now in favor of the Kings. But the 1-0 lead goes to the Canadiens. Tomas Sandstrom. Sandstrom leaves it. Gretzky sends it in. Waugh going back to play it. Takes a look around. Had a little trouble deciding what to do with that one. Brisebois back to help out. Gretzky moves over on him. Comes to Ronan. Ronan tips it to center. Brunet. Brunet brings it. Canadiens changing. Ronan on the right. Brunet shot. Blocked. Ronan turnaround. Blocked by Gretzky. Gretzky was right behind him. Came through and just put his stick down on the puck. Played by Charlie Huddy. Huddy, you see, having trouble trying to get wound up there. Generate any speed with that brace on that knee. Lyle Odeline just out of the zone by Granato. Bellows. Save made by Kelly Rudy, and he hangs on. Canadiens up 1-0.
It was 1-0 Montreal when Vincent Damphousse had this breakaway. Goaltenders, when you come this far in the playoffs, have to know how to hold you in at the right time. And with his team trailing 1-0, 2-0 would have been a sizable hole here. Even if it creeps into 4 or 5 players' minds that maybe destiny is on the Montreal Canadiens side and they are going to win this game, if 4 or 5 LA Kings down 2-0 on a Vincent Damphousse goal think that, another goal, a couple other guys fall into that thinking pattern, well, boy, it's tough to overcome a couple of goal lead when you're down 3 games to 1. It's tough anytime.
That's when you start assigning numbers for who gets the cut of what portion of the carry. Behind the net. Crowd as McSorley and LeClair were going at it behind the play. They separated themselves, though. Cleared up near side. Nobody there. Hardy's pass goes into the zone. And back to get in Matthew Snyder. And that is going to be an icing call. Our Budweiser Stanley Cup summary as we are here in Game 5. Montreal, you take a look at a record that is going to stand, I think, for a long time. LeClair, 7th player in history to score overtime goals in consecutive games. And Gretzky, second all-time with 53 points during the final series in his career. 4 Stanley Cups to his credit, of course. Going after another one here. There's the man. And they say there's not a superstar on this team. Well, wait a minute.
Paul DiPietro this morning said to me, Patrick Waugh is our Wayne Gretzky. As simple as that.
That's the Hall of Famer. Just waiting. And only 27 years old with a lot of W's left in front of him the way he's playing right now. .928 save percentage in the playoffs. Second only to Curtis Joseph, who faced all the pucks ever made in Canada and the United States during the playoffs this season, even though they didn't last that long. DiPietro and Yari Curry on the faceoff. Faceoffs have been an area where the Montreal Canadiens have dominated. Their top 4 are all above 500 in faceoffs. LA's top 4 all below. Granado pinned up on the boards. It's an interesting story. Donald Dufresne right there wearing number 34. This is the first game he's played, Bill, and what a special thought process by the Canadiens to get him into the game.
Well, he would not have gotten his name on the Stanley Cup if he had not gotten into at least one game, because he only played 32 games during the regular season. You have to play 40. Jacques Demers didn't want to do anything to let the LA Kings think that he thought this series was over, but he also was torn with his conscience, telling him, this guy served me well during the regular season. If we win it, I want his name on the cup.
So he's in the lineup. Offside. There is a whistle there somewhere. And Montreal took the shot after the whistle, and the Kings don't like it. I don't think anybody heard that, though. Everybody kept on going on an offside whistle. It just didn't pierce the crowd.
Al Gilbert-Dion with the beard. His brother Marcel, who starred for so many years as a member of the LA Kings, never made it past the second round of the playoffs. And here's his junior brother by 19 years. Trying to wrap it up here in the Montreal Forum. I wonder if Marcel says, gosh, there's something to be said for timing and just being in the right place at the right time.
Talked to Marcel yesterday. He made an interesting point, which I hadn't really thought much about. He said, you know, they were telling me, I've listened all my career about how fighting's necessary in the game of hockey. He said, I've been watching the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. Don't tell me fighting's necessary to see great hockey.
Different strokes. There's Donald Dufresne, man we talked about in the lineup. Jacques Demers was also faced with the same situation concerning Jesse Belanger, another player that played for him on and off during the regular season. And Jacques is the kind of guy that would like to serve everybody, but his #1 priority is obviously winning this hockey game and not doing anything to get the LA Kings revved up.
So it was kind of quietly done.
Yeah, exactly.
Suddenly showed up.
There was a little article in the corner of the Journal de Montréal, which is the French newspaper that is the absolute hockey Bible. Every page has multiple articles. There was just a very tiny French article about the possibility of Donald Dufresne playing in this game.
He probably would have preferred even that didn't go in. I'm sure he would have. It's a wonderful thing to do. And of course, there's a risk involved to Brunet. Brunet pinned up by Blake. Puck came free along the boards, though. Gretzky was able to dig it out. Gretzky will lead the charge over the Sandstrom, broken up Matthew Schneider, and that creates the offside. And a frustrated Wayne Gretzky heads back out for yet another face-off at center. That's what's happened on attempted rushes by the Kings in this series. Minute 10 to our first intermission. And we'll send you back to our studios. And during our first intermission, Gretzky's chances. We'll take a look at those. And yes, Huddy is playing injured. We'll be back there with Jim, John. All in a minute 10.
Yeah, Charlie Huddy playing hurt. You got to play hurt. Oh, what a hit. Rob Blake again on Guy Carbonneau, and it looked like he kept his elbow down. Rob Blake has been nothing short of a human bulldozer in this series, and he hits so high, Gary. He seems to get good leverage. He digs in with his skates, and he hits up high so that when he hits you, he just tips you over immediately. When guys go down, they just don't go down. I mean, they get slammed to the ice.
Yeah, that's just what happens. He does tip you over. 1 minute left to go in the first period. Canadiens leading. Dion get hit by Zhitnik that time. He felt that one. Under a minute left here. Intercepted, intended for Ronan. Kicked away from Dion again. Gilbert-Dion tried to bang it in. Ronan will play it back at center. Only one up on the board here. That was the setup and the good hit by Leclerc. DiPietro from Lehman and Leclerc. Zhitnik, and now Guy Carbonneau and Blake.
And guess what? The veteran won this matchup. Rob Blake has manhandled Guy Carbonneau in this shift. That replay that we showed you was the second time he flattened him, but this time he got the punch going. The right hand right into the mush of Guy Carbonneau. See Carbonneau go back at him? Watch Blake. No, sir, baby, not this time of year. So Rob Blake has to sit for a couple. 36.7 seconds to go in the period. It's a great way to finish a period and a great way for the Canadiens to start the second period.
Rob Blake will head out. A Barry Melrose team that must win to keep this series alive and send it back for a game on Saturday is behind 1-0. Carbonneau, he had that shield and helmet driven right into the side of his head.
You know what, Gary? I'm not sure that blood isn't from that hit that we replayed in the corner, because that was a far more violent hit than the it could have been from that one, but it could have been one of 3 that I saw.
He'd had enough.
Well, yeah, but guess what? He doesn't mind. He's like Tim Waters with his 35 stitches for the Kings, and Daryl Sador, his 32 stitches in the mouth in this series. E. Carbonell will take this. That hit him almost under the chin and on the other side, which leads me to believe that that cut happened earlier.
Pretty good rocking. Wow. Still talking here in front of the scorers table. Gregson. Tomas Sandstrom had gotten into an argument behind the play and had to be separated in the corner, and I think there are going to be extra penalties picked up here. Sandstrom is heading to the dressing room. That would indicate maybe a misconduct. Sandstrom was over in the corner after everything had ended and was in a stand-up argument over there. In fact, looked like there was going to be a fight, but it's the old situation and nobody wants to be thrown out of the game, so both of them held onto their gloves and stick.
You know what, Gary? The Montreal Canadiens still think that Marty McSorley is playing with an illegal stick. In Game 4, he dropped his stick in the third period. It fell out of his hands right in front of the Montreal bench with the curved part up. They took a look at it. They didn't grab it, but they looked at it, and a number of them said after the game, Marty McSorley is still playing with an illegal stick, and that's something we can call if we feel we have to.
All roughing penalties picked up here, so Blake, Sandstrom, and Ronan all pick up roughing. That means the power play still goes to the Canadiens. Intercepted by Marty McSorley. 20 seconds left to go here in the first period. Gretzky will send it up ice. Los Angeles Kings, 6 shorthanded goals in the playoffs, but they've not been able to do much of that here against Montreal. Only 1 in this series. Sent into the corner. McSorley over to get it. Jams it up. Not out. Damphus holds it in. There's time. Centering pass blocked by McSorley. Sent it again off Kelly Rudy's stick, and that's the first. And the Montreal Canadiens are just 2 periods away from their 24th Stanley Cup. If they can continue to lead, they've got it 1-0, John.
All right, Gary and Bill, thanks a lot. The Los Angeles Kings coming out strong, though, but Montreal, keep this in mind. They have not trailed after the first period since Game 2 of the series against the New York Islanders. So they still have the lead in this one, 1-0. Back with more in just a moment. John Davidson and Jim Schoenfeld with their characterization of the first period. We'll also take a look at some of the great goaltending. Meanwhile, goaltender Kelly Rudy could not stop this one from DiPietro. It's over top of his shoulder in, and it's 1-0. Welcome back. It's game number 5. Montreal trying to clinch it tonight. They have a 1-0 lead over the Los Angeles Kings. And again, we started with Wayne Gretzky at the beginning of the night. It's hard to imagine how many points Wayne might have if everybody scored on every opportunity he gave them.
Yeah, and in a team sport, everybody has a certain role. You know, I had a coach who used to say the tap dancers dance, the lead singers sing. Well, Wayne is a playmaker. He's been making brilliant plays all the way back to Game 4. He's putting the puck on the tape, and all you have to do is get open, get in a position, and you know it's going to be there. Here he's going to draw 2 Canadians to him. Watch the little passage, isn't it? Good scoring chance, another chance in the rebound, but they don't put it in the net. That was last game. Here we are tonight. The great one again. Watch this pass, fools. Everybody except Patrick Waugh with a little pass there to Granato. Wayne's going to set up here for the one-timer at the point. There's McSorley. Just the right velocity. Gives him a chance to get it away. Behind the net, the puck always seems to come to him. Right through the crease. Can't get it past Waugh. He keeps setting guys up. They just cannot score. Watch this. He's going to try to hit Robitaille for the tip in. And here's Wayne. Look at Robitaille in front of it. There it is. Off the leg, but wide of the net again. So the great one doing everything he's supposed to do. People have to score goals. When you're that good at getting the puck on the stick, it's almost by accident you should get some goals, and they just aren't scoring any.
Yeah, you would think so, although Patrick Waugh is taking away the accident. He has accident insurance, if you will. Waugh's played well. Kelly Rudy's played great. Let's take a look back at some of the outstanding goaltending in the first 4 games of this series. JD, you have been there. 1979 against the Montreal Canadiens in the Stanley Cup Final. The pressure is incredible, and you were in a similar situation as Kelly Hrudey.
Bringing up bad memories again, huh, John? Win the first one, lose 4 straight, huh? I just, in watching Kelly Hrudey play right now and seeing how well he came through again in the first period, even though his team's down 1-0, I think it's a remarkable situation. He was going into the playoffs as the sore spot with Los Angeles, and that was to be their goaltending. Well, it's turned out the other way around. He's been the guy that they've counted on. He's played well all the way through, and what's better than anything else, I think, for Kelly Hrudey is he now has respect around the National Hockey League. Patrick Waugh, we've known how great he's been. However, the last couple of seasons, he's not had great playoffs. And watching him perform here, I think that he wants to be, and I don't doubt he will be, the first $3 million goaltender in the history of the game.
Yeah, the thing about Waugh is, you know, once the game is on the line, once they blow their lead, the game's tied, he seems to shut the door. He gives his team a chance to win every game they're in because he just stops allowing goals either in the third period or in overtime. When you have goaltending like that, sooner or later, you're going to bank one in, and that's what the Canadiens have done, not only in this series, but throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, it has been tremendous goaltending throughout this series. We'll see it continue as we move into the second period. The Montreal Canadiens and Los Angeles Kings. Deja vu, Patrick Waugh. 86, he won the Conn Smythe Trophy as the outstanding player in the playoffs. You see what he did against the Calgary Flames. He's doing it again this year, and he could be headed to another Conn Smythe. Welcome back. The second period is straight ahead in a 1-0 hockey game. We were a little bit surprised when we saw Charlie Huddy on the ice, at least as far as we thought that he might be out for the series with a knee injury.
Well, a sprained knee, certainly you would think he would be out for that period of time. Charlie Huddy was injured earlier in the series. He took a real hard hit from Keane of Montreal, and you'll see the leg right there get jammed towards the inside. His right knee joint was the joint with a problem. There's been a lot of companies now that become involved with trying to improve sports medicine, and one of them, Smith & Nephew Company out of Carlsbad, California, have come up with this knee brace, and this is the exact brace or make-up brace that Charlie Huddy is using for this game. Now, your leg slides in here. It does not allow the leg to hyperextend the knee joint, and also the knee joint is put right in here, and it can't be pushed sideways with all that firm support. This thing only weighs 18 ounces. It's made of carbon fiber, and I think that's the stuff they make race cars out of for the Indianapolis 500. Price, $800, but if you're a hockey player and you want to make a living in this sport, these things are well worth it. The thing that I found quite interesting, guys, is in talking to the Los Angeles doctors during the playoffs, Dr. Kavitny, he was telling me that instead of taking injuries such as a cracked rib or a fractured rib and taking the needle, and when they freeze it up so the player can play, they used to put the needle around the fracture and block the nerve. Well, they've come up with something new, and what it is it's a solution they put in the syringe and they jab it into the thigh, and it stings. Gretzky had it a number of times because he played with a cracked rib. He said it stung for 3 or 4 seconds, and then everything was fine. And whatever they have come up with, a new idea, it is working for injuries throughout the body. And you look at players like Huddy playing tonight, Pat Conacher played with a bad groin, and you had Gretzky with the rib. Something new, and it may be turning sports around.
Just imagine, you guys might have been able to play another 10 years or so of that. You might be playing right now. I should rather be here with you.
We want to be with you.
All right, we'll continue with more in just a moment. Wayne Gretzky setting up Granado here. Patrick Waugh equal to the task. It's 1-0.
ESPN's presentation of the Stanley Cup Finals is brought to you by Fuji Quick Snap one-time use cameras. Fuji, a new way of seeing things.
Back with you in Montreal, Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, 1-0. The Canadiens are leading the Kings at the end of the first period. A victory by the Canadiens, and the cup is theirs yet one more time. Well, you can say one thing about this series. Very little has changed, Bill. The philosophies, you do what they were going in. It's try and beat us at our own game.
Well, we also knew that Patrick Waugh was hot coming into this series. Not only hot as it goes as far as goaltenders are concerned, but technically he was perfect coming in. And the only way the LA Kings, I think, now can hope to beat him is perhaps on their power play, because they weren't even able to drive the net at even strength. They had good scoring chances on their power play in the first period. Here, Gretzky to Robitaille. They worked a 2-on-1, and J.J. Daigneault, good scoring opportunity, but sharp angle. Another one, 2-on-1 with number 43, Brisebois, going to the far side of the net. Gretzky dropped it to Tony Granato. The thing about Patrick Roy that you notice when you watch him is that even difficult saves look easy. So when you watch Patrick Roy play, I don't think you can tell the difference between an easy save and a tough save because they all look easy to him.
And on the power plays, Patrick Roy denied on chances by the Los Angeles Kings. They went 0 for 2. Montreal 0 for 1. Check in with Tom.
Cap, the first period's been a problem in that you've fallen behind the last 3 games. Are you satisfied with the way the team played this first period?
Oh, real satisfied. Yeah, we played real hard. We played physical the way we wanted to. We've got a lot of fight left in us, and we just have to start putting it in the net.
Well, now the big question is, how do you beat Patrick Roy? One of your power plays, Jimmy Carson had a great deflection, and Roy was there again.
Well, we're going to try to work it low, and hopefully the box will collapse, and we'll be able to hit one of the defensemen and just jam the net and hope for a rebound. But, you know, we're real pleased. We just have to take one period at a time in the situation that we're in and try to out-battle them. All right.
Tom talking with Cap Raider as the Los Angeles Kings were coming out on the ice. There you see Patrick Roy's numbers, the saves, and the shots faced. The Kings did have some decent opportunities. It has got to be a mighty frustrating situation right now for this Los Angeles team, which loves to run and gun. They're still averaging 4 goals per game here in the playoffs this season, not in this series. Power play underway here for the Canadiens. Blake in the box with 1:09 left on his penalty. Montreal 0 for 1 on the power play. Second chance, Desjardins wide. Pat Conacher in the penalty killing unit kicks it out of the zone. Desjardins back to get it. Damphousse out there with him. First period shots were 10-7 in favor of the Canadiens. Matthew Schneider's got it. 50 seconds remaining on the power play for the Canadiens. Damphousse over to Bellows. Bellows, Damphousse, and Muller up front. Bellows for Damphousse, deflected back to Schneider. Schneider's tried to center. Good read on that, kicked out of the zone by Charlie Huddy. Huddy's out there in the penalty killing unit. He's just doing it all. 30 seconds remaining on this power play chance. Desjardins starts it up ice.
You know, every shift Charlie Huddy has looked stronger. He looked weak in the warm-up. He was really hobbling on his leg. First shift, same thing, but every shift that he's played, he's looked stronger. He looks like he's normal out there.
Really playing well. Back out to Schneider. Schneider back for Damphousse. Damphousse. Schneider. Schneider drops it. Brisebois down low. Brisebois trying to center, deflected behind the net. He was trying to get it to Damphousse. Yari Curry's got it short-handed. Los Angeles for another 6 seconds. Gretzky out. Gretzky will bring it in himself. Wayne Gretzky tied up along the line. Centering pass. Only Kurt Muller was there for Montreal. Muller, the penalty is over. Montreal does not convert. They are now 0 for 2, as are the Kings on the power play. Brought in by Brunet. Benoit Brunet with Darryl Sador. Brunet. Nice poke check by Sador. Brunet back to get it. Shot save on Carbonneau by Kelly Rudy. Rifled in on goal as Guy Carbonneau is open. Keane tips it in. Great scoring chance right there. Good quick release. Again, Keane shot deflected wide. Rudy was screened. Carbonneau with Gretzky behind the net. Yari Curry's got it. Curry skating with Gretzky on this line now. They'll head to the bench and change it up. J.J. Daniel back to get it. Touches up for the icing. Just underway here in the second period.
Well, the LA Kings survived. Now they have to get power plays of their own. As Cap Raider, Barry Melrose assistant, pointed out, they want to get the puck down low. That's near the goal line and try to hope that the Montreal Canadiens 4 penalty killers bunch back down and hit a guy coming in from the blue line. But here's Montreal's scoring chance. You know, I'm still wondering if that went off the post. I couldn't tell from that angle. I know you called it a save, and I know you're up 1-0 on me on those in this series. I'm trying to even it. I think that went off the post.
You got it. Thank you. At your end of the ice, it's all yours.
We're tied.
DiPietro has the goal. Deflected back off Robitaille's stick. Robitaille lost it. Dion to DiPietro. He was all by his lonesome. DiPietro centering pass blocked to the corner. Bad turnover by the Kings right there. See if they get away with it. Kicked away to Carson. Jimmy Carson working a regular shift. Overskated it. DiPietro missed it on the short side. Well, DiPietro a force in this game so far. Marty McSorley starts it out. McSorley drops it. Carson to Robitaille. Robitaille in the middle. McSorley scores! This game is tied! 1-1.
Well, the Canadiens aren't arguing it. It looked like it went post to post, but I think it went post to the inside of the net. And Marty McSorley has tied this hockey game. He did a great job of getting up on the play. You can see the 2 Kings made it a 2-on-2. Marty McSorley helped with the overload. It went high off to Patrick Roy. Just watched her go behind him. Never even flinched. Watch it. the right post, and then off the last ball, it bounced behind the goal line. It never did enter the net on either side of the post. It wasn't until it bounced on the goal line behind it, then bounced out again, that the goal light went on.
They are going to make it interesting and maybe a little more. Game is tied at 1-1 as Marty McSorley picks up the goal to tie this game. They're going to call upstairs to the video replay judge to determine whether or not it crossed the line. Gary Gregson will talk with him. The video replay judge can make the call on his own or go with what they ruled on the ice.
Well, we think we've got this one figured out. Let's see if we're right. Post to post and then bounce post to post. Watch where it lands.
Oh, it's in there.
Isn't that incredible that it bounced behind the line and then took a carom out this way? How'd that happen? It's not in the net yet. Now it is, and it bounced out. Gosh. And you wonder why there's video replay in hockey. I mean, the goal judge and Gregson both had it, though, Gary. The goal judge flicked the light on, and Terry Gregson signaled that it was a goal.
And it is still tied at 1-1.
That's Marty McSorley's second goal in 2 games, and both of them have been high. The Kings have only scored 3 high goals on Patrick Roy, and coming into this game, only 20% of their shots were in the upper half of the net. 80% were in the lower half. The scouting report on Patrick Roy is still weaker high than low.
Marty McSorley, he has been a presence physically and a presence here as he's on the board to tie it up. Warren Reichel. Reichel's shot. Missed it on the short side. Rebound is Zhitnik. Zhitnik at the point. Did he hold it in? No. A delayed offside call. Danfus has it. Won't matter now. Canadiens clear. LeBeau tipped it in the air. Taken by Rob Blake. 2:40 the time of the tying goal. McSorley from Carson and Robitaille. 4 in the playoffs for Marty McSorley. And he has picked up 2 of those in this series. Third around Muller off the dasher. Muller trying to hold it in. Matthew Schneider's shot deflects behind the net. Rebound Danfus. Danfus out there with Muller and Bellows. For Bellows missed it. Held into Oderline from Schneider. Shot deflected. Did not get in on Kelly Rudy. Rob Blake was able to block it. Danfus again looking for Bellows. Danfus himself. Muller shot. Score! Kurt Muller!
Give the Montreal Canadiens all kinds of credit on this goal. Good work by Kurt Muller to keep the play alive. Then Danfus with the puck behind the net. He tries to wrap around and misfires. But Muller had moved to the front. And I don't know if you noticed on the right of the screen, Brian Bellows had his helmet ripped off and it went into 3 pieces. The linesmen were picking it up after the goal. Good play by Danfus because he was being flushed out. Kurt Muller moved to the front. And Rob Blake, number 4, never really did have him tied up. And the Canadiens have regained the lead. So how long did LA even stay in a tied situation? I mean, less than 2 minutes.
2:40 the time of McSorley's goal. 3:51 the time of the goal by Kurt Muller. His 10th of the playoffs, second against the Kings. Danfus picking up the assist. 3:51. Canadiens lead it again, 2-1. In the corner, shot Carbonneau. Brunet, Carbonneau cutting to the net. Brunet cuts to the net. Brunet kicks it. Couldn't get the shot off. Honey tied him up from behind. Luke Robitaille. Sidor drops it. This is what makes Montreal so frustrating to play against. You have a hard enough time scoring goals. You get one, and it's like, well, our turn, and they come right back and put it on the board. Sidor up for Robitaille. Robitaille will drop it back. While Oderline also picking up an assist on that goal by Kurt Muller. Sent in, Tomas Sandstrom going back, losing the stick. Matthew Schneider really crunched Sandstrom, and he didn't like it. Puts him in a headlock, but gets away.
Well, this crowd is on top of their game because the Canadiens are on top of the LA Kings, but the Kings have some fans here. Craig Stadler is a big LA Kings fan, golfs with a lot of the guys in the offseason. He's got to play Westchester. If I'm not mistaken, the Pro-Am tomorrow. He's going to have to catch an early flight.
He's obviously worried about that Pro-Am. DiPietro on the face-off. DiPietro has the other goal. Marty McSorley going behind the net. Off the blocker of Brisebois, sends it in.
He's got time to psych up and get ready.
Pro-Am doesn't matter anyway. It's all for fun. Let's get to the 19th. That's all. Cleared up to Donnelly. Donnelly drops it for Millen. Corey Millen brings it in. Millen looking to the net. Millen, the shot blocked by Brisebois. Ends up over the glass and in the seats. Cup summary looks like this. Montreal, the record 10 straight overtime wins. Leclaire, 7th player in history to score overtime goals in consecutive games. Gretzky, the 2nd all-time leader at 53 points in the Cup Finals.
You know, Gary,
got to be wondering.
Wayne Gretzky has played, obviously, in some huge games in his life, but he realizes he is running out of time for another Stanley Cup. I think what we are seeing in this hockey game is as desperate a Wayne Gretzky as we've ever seen in any game.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bill, because I think he's right. This is it. This is not a team that you're going to look at. They're not going to be favored to come back next season. Cleared up. McSorley trying to hold it in. Deflected to Donnelly. McSorley kicked it in for Donnelly. And by the way, Gretzky did not have a shot on goal in the first period, and neither did Tomas Sandstrom. Mark Hardy. Hardy holding it in. It's even strength here. Then it looks like a power play. Centered in on Waugh. Knocked away, and a penalty coming up. Tony Granato was in front. Tipped it in on Patrick Waugh. And there'll be a power play coming here as Terry Gregson is going to take Gary Lehman.
You know, Gary Lehman went out to Mark Hardy as Hardy was winding up. And he put himself out of position by going down to block the shot. Mark Hardy made a real heads-up move to go around him. Here it is. See Hardy with the wind-up? And it looked like he was going to dump it in, but he decided to skate by him. Now he's got a jump on Gary Lehman, and Lehman got the stick on him. Mark Hardy made that one look great. That looked like a half gainer off the 3-meter board. Pretty good. 9-4 for Mark Hardy. Well, no wonder Lehman doesn't like it.
You do anything you can at this point, right?
Oh, you bet, especially when you're a veteran like Mark Hardy.
Tripping at 5:32 is the call. Power play for Los Angeles. 0 for 2 already here tonight in this series. 3 for 24. Canadians are leading it 2-1. Wayne Gretzky will come back out on the ice. Gretzky in the first period, he was a little 7.5 minutes. Total time he spent in the first period. We told you earlier, averaging about 25 minutes per game thus far. This game 5, we are delighted to have a record 80 countries worldwide, making this our largest potential viewing audience in National Hockey League history. We at ESPN are proud to be part of what is now a global event, this 100th edition of the Stanley Cup Finals. Wherever you may be in the world watching, great to have you with us. Wayne Gretzky. Kurt Muller bounces back to McSorley. His shot gloved. Waugh drops it off to Keane. Power play for Los Angeles. Darryl Sador held it in. Tomas Sandstrom, intended for Gretzky, but batted away and out of the zone. And give credit where it's due here to the penalty killing unit of these Canadiens. They have been exceptional in this series against Los Angeles, in helping Patrick Waugh. Once the puck's in and dropped, they have been able to clear the zone. Waugh leaves it again. Matthew Schneider hard off the glass, up and not out. Good play by McSorley to hold it in. Schneider off the dasher, couldn't get it. Robitaille up for Sandstrom. Tomas Sandstrom gets hit by Muller. Kurt Muller freed it, can't get it. McSorley puts it back in right in front of Waugh, plays it to Keane. Talk about composure. Patrick Waugh took a look around to see who was there. Saw a white jersey, played it. Carson, that's going to be an offside 2-line pass. 1:04 left on the power play.
Now, Jimmy Carson almost won the game for the Los Angeles Kings late in the third period on a face-off in Game 4. Before it went to overtime, Carson ripped a shot right off the draw up against the post near the crossbar. He really had jump in the overtime, and here is a guy that was benched after Game 4 of the Toronto series. Barry Melrose decided to bring him out of the stands 2 nights ago in Los Angeles, and Carson responded just about the way I thought he would, Gary, like a guy that forgot that his feelings were hurt and wanted to prove to the world that he should have been in the game. He played great in overtime because he had lots of legs, and I don't know if you felt the same as I did, but I thought he would play here in this hockey game.
And play a lot.
Yeah.
And he is. Jitnik over to Blake. Power play underway for the Los Angeles Kings. Canadiens are leading 2-1. 13-17 left to go here in the second period. Canadiens win, and it is all over. They got the lead in this game. DiPietro from Lehman and Leclaire. McSorley tied it from Carson and Robitaille. Muller the go-ahead from Damphus and Odelon. We mentioned that Guy Carbonneau has played primarily against Wayne Gretzky in the last
3 games. Remember game 1, he didn't see much action against Gretzky and went to his coach and said, listen, checking the top players has been my life. But I think Jacques Demers deserves a lot of credit because while Carbonneau has played the majority of shifts against Gretzky at even strength, he hasn't bothered to disrupt at all. I haven't noticed one time that Demers has gone out of his way to yank somebody off the ice to get Carbonneau out there against Gretzky.
Patrick Roy with Carson moving in, just hangs on. Puts it in the glove. 27 seconds left on the power play.
Because that was a question that I had when this series began. Will Jacques Demers try to shadow Wayne Gretzky? Will he pay specific attention to him? Because if he does, he's going to take away what he wants to do, and that is rotate his 4 lines. And Barry Melrose has said all along, if Jacques Demers wants to match lines, I win. Melrose thinks that anybody that matches lines gives him an advantage.
They did it in game 1 and lost. They haven't done it since, and they've won all 3.
And they didn't even do it that much in game 1, but it was a different guy.
Yep.
Montreal took Kirk Muller off of his game by putting him against Gretzky.
Well, they changed that up, and Muller's been back helping the offense. Face-offs are 12-12 thus far in this game. Wayne Gretzky moves in to take the draw here. Won it. 25 left on the Kings' power play. Lost the throw to Muller. Bangs it out. Guy Carbonneau. Carbonneau had Sador in front. Sador takes it back. Good play by Sador. Another thing the Kings haven't had are the rookies scoring. Reichel, Jitnik, and Sador, the top 3 rookie scorers in this year's playoffs. Reichel and Sador haven't scored in this series, and only 1 point picked up by Jitnik. In the corner, Matthew Schneider up. Gretzky, Carbonneau able to clear it out. Lehman out of the penalty box, bounces into the bench. They do not convert on the power play. Canadiens up. Canadiens have lost only 1 game here at home in this year's playoffs. They are 9-1. The Los Angeles Kings came in here and did that in game 1 of this series. Kings on the road 7-5 this season. Do or die for Los Angeles. Tony Granato takes down Don Cruz. They get up. Play Knights of the Shining Armor. Granato obviously is trying to aggravate, irritate, and pick up a penalty off somebody over there. LeBeau waiting on the faceoff against Corey Millen. LeBeau won it, and a penalty does come. Tony Granato did get dumped off the draw. Gregson was standing right there, and Don Foos is going to the penalty box for elbowing. He's done it again.
Well, he's even in this game because he actually went to the penalty box himself. Tony Granato has now drawn 9 penalties in this series. This is game 5. He's still yapping. Here it is on the draw. You don't think it was the instigator in this that got it started?
It was right, though, wasn't it?
Kerry Gregson was just glued to the proceedings.
Look at this. He's yapping at the whole Canadiens bench as he goes by.
Well, he doesn't discriminate. He took on the whole bench.
That's right. Get it all. Start at one end and go down.
Canadiens don't discriminate either. 10 straight overtime wins. And they've played overtime against everybody. 2 against Quebec, 3 against the Buffalo Sabres, 2 against the New York Islanders, and 3 against the Los Angeles Kings. So the Canadiens haven't discriminated either.
Take a look at the power play. Kings, they need it here. They're down 2-1. They pick up yet another power play. Their 4th chance of the game. Downfus elbowing at 7:40. Penalty killing unit goes back to work. Gretzky will be out on the power play. Zhitnik gets it from him. Gretzky moves down in front. Tipped. Robitaille had an open net on that side, and it went wide. Rob Blake. Blake, the move. Gretzky. Zhitnik all alone. Got Keane down. Zhitnik in. Shot. Wow, the save. Rebound. Wow, the save on Robitaille.
Oh, boy, did Tomas Sandstrom want the puck. He was the guy that was open in the slot. Zhitnik's shot was rebounded to the Robitaille side, but you're looking at Sandstrom, who was standing wide open in the slot, never got it. Zhitnik with a good move here. Mike Keane goes down the block. Zhitnik yanked it once, pulled wide, and you can see Keane's out of position. Now Zhitnik doesn't know it, but over to the right, Sandstrom's wide open. Instead, he shot. Patrick Roy hugged the post. Tomas Sandstrom, during the regular season, scored 29 goals in 32 games, but you can see that he has 20 shots in this series and no goals. During the regular season, he averaged 1 goal every 5.4 shots. 20 now without a goal.
That is really hurting the Kings. Gretzky with a minute 19 on the power play. J.J. Daniel batted it away. Guy Carbonneau up for Daniel. Daniel will clear it out of the zone.
And you can tell that the LA Kings are finally on to the numbers that we've been spitting out about the Montreal block shots. I mean, Keane and Carbonneau are just about a sure bet to go down when you fake one at the point. And the LA Kings are doing a pretty good job of getting into the ice and walking around.
That gets the puck down lower for the chance. J.J. Daniel, the wraparound. Blake can't hold it in. Blake has to drop it back for Zhitnik. 52 remaining on this power play. Canadians are leading 2-1. Gretzky, wide side head. Ooh, the elbow put up by Granato. Granato centered in front, tipped again by Robitaille. Robitaille and Gretzky both have 4 power play goals in the playoffs this year to lead the Kings. And Robitaille 2 chances on that shift. Penalty down to 30 seconds here. Canadiens still short-handed. Sent in by Zhitnik. Dumping, chasing. Donnelly going in, but the puck ended up going out. And the faceoff will be out at center ice. It was shot in by Los Angeles and did not touch a Canadian.
Well, the Kings are doing a lot of things right in their power play. As long as they're getting chances, they're going to continue to fake shots, move wide. Their attack has come from the point. Cap Raider said that they wanted to try to get the puck low, get it down to the goal line, and hope that the Montreal defenders collapse back in and then free up a point man. That hasn't been the case. Luke Robitaille with the tip.
He was partially tied up, so couldn't get it directed where he wanted it to go. Muller comes out with Keane, Odeline, and Matthew Snyder in the penalty killing unit. Yari Curry on the face-off against Kurt Muller. Curry wins the draw. Monty McSorley sends it in. 20 seconds remaining on the Kings power play. Donnelly down low, tied up. Schneider, Granato. Whipped it around near side McSorley, hit by Muller. Puck still there on the boards. McSorley couldn't get it. Tip back inside. Schneider there. Can't get it out. Held in. Sador's shot. That's blocked. Near side. Yari Curry. And the power play is over. Shot. Sador. Blocked by Keane.
2 blocks in a row. 1 by Schneider. 1 by Keane.
And the penalty's over. And the Kings are 0 for 4 on the power play in this game. And Canadiens protect their 2-1 lead. Schneider takes it behind the bench. 10:04 left to go here. Schneider coming off the bench. Back over for Conacher. Shuchuk plays it at center. Shots even at 12. Yari Curry. There's room. May have hit the end of Patrick Waugh's glove. Waugh's down in the crease. Waugh got run into by Pat Conacher, who was following that last shot. And Waugh went down.
You only have to tell Pat Conacher once, drive the net. This is what we talked about before this game started. And you know what? At even strength, the Kings have not really driven the net all that much. But Yari Curry's shot, what Conacher's going for is a rebound, anything. He was pulled off, and his skate came up and hit Patrick Waugh. It looked like in the chest. Look at his skate blade. And it wasn't a good angle shot by Yari Curry, but because Conacher was driving to the net, see him looking? Because Conacher's going to the net, any shot's a dangerous shot. If Patrick Waugh can't control the rebound, Conacher might have a chance at it.
Waugh gets back up after the trainer came out to have a look. 66-39 in his playoff history now. 107 games he has appeared in prior to this one. In all but 18 minutes of this year's playoffs, he has been in net.
Pat Conacher will take the cue. And that looked like it was deflected, too. And that's Brian Bellows coming back with him. Bellows is a guy that scores goals, but doesn't play much defense on certain nights. But Bellows did a pretty good job of getting back and trying to tie up Pat Conacher. And his skate did hit Patrick Waugh in the chest. Well, Brian Bellows has his wedding rescheduled now for mid-July, so he's all set. So many stories involving weddings. People plan weddings way ahead of time before the NHL schedule was increased to last this long.
They're going to have short honeymoons because 3 months from now it's the start of the training camp for the National Hockey League's next season. Waugh wanted a longer break, so he came out. He just wanted to rest a minute here. Pulled his face-off man out of the circle. Brian Bellows wins the face-off. Drop back for J.J. Daniel. Daniel clears it up. Marcardi at center. Lost it. LeClaire the angle. Kelly Rudy blocked it. LeClaire sent it back. DiPietro has one of the 2 goals he and Muller have scored for the Canadiens. LeClaire lost it behind the net, and a penalty coming up here. And it's going to be on the Kings, I believe. And now, well, there was a high stick behind the net, apparently on a Canadian who got Charlie Huddy, who you saw down on the ice.
Oh, Gary, the arm was up before that.
Yes, it was.
I don't think Terry Grayson even saw the hit on Charlie Huddy, so I'm going to wait on this one.
The original call was going to be on the Los Angeles Kings.
You know, Gary, John LeClair has been compared by his teammates to both Kevin Stevens of the Penguins and Eric Lindros of the Flyers. Doesn't he look like Kevin Stevens on this one? I mean, the similarity to me is that he's a left-hand shot like Kevin Stevens. The big leg out and just cutting in front. Here's Charlie Huddy behind the net digging away at it. Look at Paul DiPietro take him out. Now, while this hit is taking place, Terry Gregson's arm is already up. And he is calling a penalty at that time on somebody else. And it was on Mark Hardy. LeClair stay with it. Terrific second effort to get the puck back in front, hopefully to Bellows.
Hardy gets the original holding call at 10:28 and the only call. Since the arm was up, that's the original, and the power play now for the Montreal Canadiens, who are leading in this game by a score of 2-1. The Canadiens will get their third power play chance of this game. There are the numbers in the series for Montreal. Canadiens, as we've mentioned during this series, they're not a team that lives and dies by the power play. They're an even strength team. Shot on over the head of Kelly Rudy by Eric Desjardins. Back up for Brisebois. His shot deflected, never got in on net. Cleared up, not out. McSorley made the block, couldn't clear. Muller couldn't get it behind the net. Charlie Huddy racing on the far side. Huddy will start it out. Kings are shorthanded, overskated. Damphus had it tipped away in the zone. Muller coming back to get it. Muller hit by Huddy. Puck still there. Pulled away by Damphus. Near side Brisebois. Right back around the net. Muller. Bellows racing. Desjardins stepped up to hold it. Huddy's there. Desjardins holds it in again. Desjardins has got Damphus. Shot. Save. Rudy. He had a rebound, but it came right back down in his glove, and he hangs on to it.
Boy, that's decisive by Desjardins to make that move. That was a bold move to step in from the blue line and to wind up and rip it at Kelly Rudy. You don't have to tell the Montreal Canadiens to drive the net, especially on their power play. From Bellows to Muller to John LeClair. Look right at the top of the screen. Desjardins danced to the middle of the ice surface and just ripped one on Kelly Rudy. Look at Muller. Looks like he was trying to step over Kelly Rudy because he was getting jammed into him by Charlie Huddy. Instinct. Just go to the net. See Huddy hitting him? Yeah, he tried to step over him, it looked like.
Eric Desjardins becoming the first defenseman to have a hat trick in the Stanley Cup Finals, and only the 7th D to have one in playoff history.
He did it in Game 2. He didn't do it in dramatic fashion, though. He only scored the tire and then the winner in overtime.
Got a long way to go to catch the all-time leading scorer in playoff history, 99, Wayne Gretzky. Face off to the right of Kelly Rudy. A minute 17 left on the Kings penalty. Los Angeles able to clear the zone. Canadiens leading it by a score of 2-1. Got the lead on DiPietro's goal in the first. Marty McSorley tied at 2:40 of the second. At 3:51, Kurt Muller put the Canadiens back on top. Brisebois ahead for LeClair. Keane in the middle. Keane drops it. LeBeau scores!
Like the LA Kings were going to get away with this one. The Canadiens on a rush. Nobody covered Keane. Nobody covered LeBeau. But he fanned on the first one. He was able to get his stick back down because he was squeezing his stick tight enough to get the shot under Kelly Rudy. What a feed by Mike Keane. Now watch. LeBeau misses the first one, but he stays with it, and Yari Curry wasn't able to hold him up. Stefan LeBeau, who has not played much in this hockey game so far, has given the Montreal Canadiens a 3-1 lead. LeClair and Keane will undoubtedly get assists.
It is a power play goal picked up by Stefan LeBeau. And a timeout is going to be taken right here by Barry Melrose and the Kings with 8:29 left to go in the second period. The Montreal Canadiens needing one more win to win the cup, have a 3-1 lead.
I'll be really interested to see who he taps to take the next shift. He needs the line to fire up his guys. He's going to pick the guys with the most emotion, I would imagine. Here it is again. Keane to Stefan LeBeau. No mistake.
Los Angeles Kings have used their only time out of the game because Stefan Lebeau picked up his third of the playoffs at 11:31 on the power play. Keane and Leclerc the assists. 3-1 Montreal.
He hasn't been busy on the scoreboard, but he's been busy renaming his cats in the finals. He named them originally Wayne and Janet after Wayne and Janet Gretzky because Gretzky was his idol. He changed that.
Dion's got it. Gilbert Dion to Lehman. Lehman will try and dump it in, but a delayed offside call. Game 3, Montreal had a 3-0 lead, and the Kings came back. Game 4, Montreal led 2-0. LA came back. They lost them, but they got back in the game. And when you're this close, you ain't going anywhere but out on the ice, charging right now.
Yep. And I've called Barry Melrose, according to some other coaches, the most resilient coach they've ever coached against. Able to bounce back from adverse situations, from losses, from falling behind in hockey games. Well, Barry Melrose' resilience is being tested to the snapping point right now.
Find a way to get this next goal in particular. Cleared ahead by Zhitnik. It'll be an icing call, maybe. Sandstrom, if he touches it, won't be. Sandstrom didn't get it first. Matthew Schneider did. So the face-off will come back the other way with exactly 8 minutes left to go here in the second period. He is going to have nightmares if he doesn't find the back of that net here in this game.
Gosh, I imagine he's already had them, Gary.
He's a great shooter. We mentioned before, a streak shooter. Tomas Sandstrom just unable to get it done in the playoffs in this final round. 25 goals during the regular season. You see the 93 playoffs. Deficit to be overcome. E. Carbonneau, a minute standing ovation after that last goal. Carbonneau, Kelly Rudy gloves it. So much depends on Kelly Rudy right now. He knows that his Kings are an open-ended team anyway, and he can't allow another goal.
Well, another scoring chance off the faceoff. Gary, here is the complication for the LA Kings right now, as far as I'm concerned. To the high shot. Patrick Roy of the Montreal Canadiens has only seen 4 pucks get by him once in the playoffs, and that was Game 5 of the Quebec series. The LA Kings have to get 4 by Patrick Roy in this hockey game to win, because they're down 3-1, so they will have to get a total of at least 4 to win this hockey game, and Patrick has only given up that many once, and it was a long time ago in the first round.
Roy's got a 2.36 in this series and a 9.27 save percentage. And the shots he has faced in the playoffs almost identical. Only a 1-shot difference between he and Kelly Rudy. Anyone who thinks he hasn't had work to do, wrong. Granado, and it's deflected wide by J.J. Daniel. Bellows over to get it. Bellows for Brisebois. Brisebois to Kirk Muller. Don't think he touched it, but they'll wave anything off here anyway. Trying to get it is Zhitnik. Zhitnik around the boards. Robitaille. Bellows stepped up in front of him. Robitaille kicked it away. Dumped into the middle. Blake's got it. Blake will bring it. Blake left it. Right out of the shot. Wow, the save. Yari Curry off the blocker. And Muller got a hold of Curry's stick, so he didn't get much of that. Zhitnik deflected. A lot of people hit that one. Yari Curry tried to clear it. Robitaille. J.J. Daniel with him. Granado back to get it. Granado dropped it to the corner. Back to Granado. Poke check Brisebois. Bellows swings around and gets it out of the zone. Curry back at center. Near side for Zhitnik. Zhitnik sends it in. Roy is there to make the save. Or hang on to it behind the net anyway. Daniel up near side Muller. Muller a goal in this game. Sends it in. Canadiens change it up on the fly. 6:49 to go, second period. McSorley up to get it. Sorley, Reichel at center. Reichel is out with Tomas Sandstrom right now, and Gretzky, the line that has played together through much of this season. Roy back, Lyle Oderline. Oderline with Schneider. Bounces off Brunet. Muller for Ronan. Hardy couldn't stop it. Ronan's right behind him. Hardy kicks it to the boards. Ronan got it underneath him. Hardy reaches in, trying to freeze it up here. And we will get a whistle for the faceoff.
Well, Barry Melrose has really used his run-and-gun style to his advantage throughout the playoffs. But you know what? He had an easier time with it in the earlier rounds. Check the average goals scored per game by the LA Kings first round over 5, and it has steadily dropped since then. Of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs were the second-best defensive team in the league, so you would expect it to drop. But against Montreal, they were the 7th-place defensive team. Patrick Roy is the guy that's most responsible for that low number of 2 points.
Look at that. The best in the playoffs. So confident in the last game in the dressing room at the end of the second period in a tie game. He stood up and said to his teammates, there will be no more goals scored against me. If you get one more, we win.
You know what he told me this morning, too, Gary? He said, I really believed that when I said it. He said, I don't know what it is. He said, I guess it's just confidence. But he said, when I stood up and said it, because players will do that, and goalies will do that in games, and then they'll go out and let 4 in.
Yeah.
He really, truly believed it when he said it.
He would not say something like that if he wasn't as sure as you can be in a situation. That's what he said and then did it. Keane. I guess those are the great stories that make Hall of Famers. Corey Millen. Millen center. Tipped away from Donnelly, and it comes outside the zone. Marty McSorley back to get it. McSorley sends it in. Desjardins got it. Desjardins quickly up ice. Downpoos. Downpoos with LeBeau. Downpoos didn't have anyone to go to, so he dumped it in the corner. Mike Keane over to get it. Keane sends it behind the net. Downpoos, Corey Millen jamming it up. McSorley comes in, hits the bodies, and the puck came free. McSorley dumps it out front of his own net. 5:37 to go here in the second period. Canadiens 3, the Kings 1. Matthew Schneider intercepted that one. Millen gets it back to his own blue line to Hardy. Mark Hardy the tip. Kings want to change. In the corner, Kuchuk, Desjardins. Desjardins has it. Behind his own net, J.J. Daigneault. Daigneault kicking it ahead of DiPietro. DiPietro has a goal tonight, leading the rush. DiPietro in with Dion. Dion on the skates, but not the stick. Off the back of the net. DiPietro near side. Hung on to. Gary Leeman moves in. So does Jari Kurri. Kurri poked it away. Robitaille dropped it to center. Shuchuk coming. Gary Shuchuk on the blue line. Nobody in front of the net for him. Brisebois's got it. This game being controlled right now again by the defense of the Canadiens. Sent in by Dion into the corner. Kings down by 2. Canadiens a win, and we will see that famous skate for the Stanley Cup. Sador bangs it ahead. Jari Kurri brought it in his own end here. Kurri drops it off. Sador getting dumped in the boards.
The Kings have overcome a 2-goal deficit and a 3-goal deficit in earlier games. They didn't win the hockey games, but they're capable of it.
Carbonneau 3-on-2 rush. Tomas Sandstrom coming from behind. Got back in. Carbonneau shot. Save made. Brunet with Zhitnik on his back. Able to hold it in. Carbonneau couldn't play it. Ed Ronan on the near side. Ronan moves over. Does battle on the boards. Brunet there. Blake trying to pin it up. Did not. Brunet dumped it back into the corner. Jari Kurri back out on the ice. He's piling up the ice time. Sandstrom tried to send it in. Matthew Schneider got a piece of it. No. Canadiens by 2.
A couple of nights ago, Patrick Roy, after a save on Tomas Sandstrom, had this reaction right into Sandstrom's face. He said today he wasn't trying to be cocky. It was just a show of confidence, but to me it was the most subtle, ultimate way to say to Tomas Sandstrom, you ain't got a chance, baby.
Patrick Roy has this demeanor around the press, and when he's in public, this quiet, serious-natured individual. He's got one of the best sense of humor in this game.
Oh, he is,
and it is really dry. Granato sends it in. Reichel, the tip save made by Roy. Muller gets it out for Leclerc. Leclerc to Bellows. Bellows with Zhitnik in front. Bellows. Zhitnik tied him up. Did get the shot off. It'll be covered up with Leclerc bouncing over the stick. We want to welcome everyone around the world having the opportunity to watch here on ESPN the Stanley Cup Finals. All our English-speaking hockey fans on Eurosport. ESPN pleased to have brought you the National Hockey League action all season long, and now this very exciting 100th Stanley Cup playoff.
We've talked about Charlie Huddy wearing a knee brace, and as Vanna White, John Davidson demonstrated between periods, Warren Reichel had to do that, J.D. Warren Reichel is wearing a brace that is exactly the same as the one Charlie Huddy is wearing. He hurt his leg in the Vancouver series, and he missed the first game of the Toronto series, and only in Game 4 2 nights ago did Warren Reichel feel that he was close to 100%, and Charlie Huddy can't be close to 100%. Charlie told me before Game 4, a week to 10 days, he did not expect to get back in this series.
Understandably so, but he is really back into it here tonight. Carson knocks it down into the zone. Donald Dufresne tied him up. Dufresne getting his chance here in his first game of the playoffs. Right there, lost the puck, gets it back. I can understand why his stick may be a little nervous. Cleared up and onto the Los Angeles bench with 3:06 left to go here in the second period. Canadiens leading 3-1. And on our Dodge intermission report during the second intermission, controlling the draws, the numbers will have them for you from the playoffs and the Habs, putting a record up in overtime this season. But I have a feeling it's going to be like Lou Gehrig's Iron Man record.
They're getting close to being able to taste it, Gary. 3 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the second period, and if the Canadiens can hold, they take a 2-goal lead into the third. Why, they're hard to beat when they have the lead. Sure, the LA Kings have come back against them, but when you talk about a disciplined defensive hockey team that is patient, I mean, you can connect the dots and very easily come up with a conclusion that they are better with the lead than when behind, because they don't have to open it up. They can play to their game plan, which is their strength, and away from their weakness, which is wide open hockey.
Downpoos brings it in. Downpoos, the backhand shot. Rudy the save. Downpoos got all of that one on the backhand. Downpoos' own rebound sends it through the crease. You saw the Canadiens trying to win the cup here at home for the 12th time. Although in recent years they've been picking up their victories on the road rather than at home. They've got a way to go yet to put this one up on the board and in the record books. Brisebois sends it in. 2:30 left to go here in the second period. Martin McSorley behind the net, overskated. Pat Conacher will come back to get it. Conacher near side for McSorley. McSorley lost it. DiPietro. Dion! Oh, what a save by Kelly Rudy. It's under the right pad.
Gary, I was surprised that Pat Conacher tried his long cross-ice pass, and I'm amazed that Marty McSorley tried his, because they just didn't shape up quickly enough. Conacher got his through to McSorley, but then Marty McSorley did not come close to getting his across the ice. Paul DiPietro, typical of the Canadiens, standing high in the offensive zone, right in the middle of the ice, fed it in to Dion. And this is as brilliant a save as Kelly Rudy has made in the playoffs, I'm sure. What a fabulous save. Dion went wide. Where did he shoot it? Well, he tried to go back in the middle. Even if he'd gone wide, Kelly Rudy had his pad there.
Well, just put that one in the back of your mind, because if Los Angeles is able to get back into this game, there's the play that allows it to happen. 2:18 left to go. Kelly Rudy, an enormously important save. Matthew Schneider in the glove and held on to, and DiPietro moved in, gets pushed away.
Of all the teams that those long cross-ice passes don't work, and the Kings know that. They've had trouble in the neutral zone with them because Montreal cut off the neutral, but Barry Melrose guys got to beware of the high man in the offensive zone too. That forward that is just standing usually in the middle of the ice, somewhere just inside the blue line. You try that long cross-ice pass like Marty McSorley tried, and they just eat it.
Canadiens against Schneider, another save. Montreal's keeping it all right there. Gary Curry took down DiPietro. He just turns around, backs away. Schneider's had a couple from the point, not getting all he wanted on that last one. The Kings are not getting any offensive thrust here right now. 21-14 the shots in favor of Montreal, including an advantage here in the second as they had in the first.
Now, of all the time in this hockey game, now that they're down 2-1, the LA Kings have to concentrate on not only getting people to the net, Gary, but you know the Canadiens will have 4 guys back. They have to get it in behind them and skate to the puck without having to carry the puck in. So forget about any good plays at the blue line now against Montreal. Chip it by them, get it deep into the corners, blast it off of Patrick Waugh's pads, and drive to it in all areas of the offensive zone, because it won't be easy.
Down to Hard Rock time right now. Paul DiPietro on the face-off, tried to take the shot himself as he won it off Yari Curry. J.J. Daigneault sends it in, intercepted by Curry, and he'll bring it up ice. Curry, blue line, Hardy the trailer, Hardy the shot, blocked. Again, Leclerc was there along with Eric Desjardins to center. Stepping up, Rob Blake back on that one. Leclerc the move. DiPietro helping. Shot saved by Rudy. Right along the ice on the short side. Have you not seen Gretzky out here? Robitaille drops it off. Seems to me it's been a long time since I've said Wayne Gretzky. He comes out on the ice now. Leclerc spins around, sends it into the zone. Good call, coach. Hardy goes back to get it. Gretzky is out there on the ice right now, but he has not had a lot of ice time here in the second period. I don't think. I mean, I'm saying that just what seemingly has happened because I haven't said his name very often.
Well, he certainly hasn't handled the puck very much. And now the Montreal Canadiens might key on him even a little more, keep the puck away from him.
3-1 Canadiens leading, and if he isn't playing a lot, there's something wrong.
Well, we'll sure know in the third period because Wayne Gretzky would figure to get all the ice time he can handle once this is on the line in the third. But the Kings have to continue to drive, and for no other reason, what we pointed out in the open, even if you don't generate a scoring chance, you end up putting a lot of pressure on the guy that's trying to cover you, and you draw penalties. The Kings, if nothing else, have to continue to drive with their legs to draw penalties.
At center, Warren Reichel. Reichel sending it back in. Patrick Waugh there. Left it off. Matthew Schneider up to Guy Carbonneau. Cleared the zone. Muller looking ahead for Ronan. Ronan comes in. Ronan, Carbonneau intended for him. Reichel was there. Gretzky sends it across ice. And it's tipped again, and Kirk Muller put that one on the Kings bench. 1 minute left to go in the second period. 3-1 Montreal. Major League Baseball. The coverage continues right here on ESPN Friday at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. The Chicago Cubs with Mark Grace take on the San Francisco Giants. And potential MVP, maybe even a triple crown for Barry Bonds. And San Francisco on top right now over Houston and the red-hot Los Angeles team. Atlanta, Cincinnati, San Diego, and the Rocks.
I still think Colorado can make a run for it.
For next to last? Yes. A little pitching wouldn't hurt right now.
But a lot of pitching.
Yeah, that too. Marty McSorley. Gretzky won the face-off, sends it in. Desjardins knocks it down. We're in the final minute of this second period. Canadiens playing their usual safe game here when they've got a 2-goal lead. That doesn't mean they don't push the puck up and try, but they don't make mistakes to turn it over. Brunet sends it in. Huddy goes back.
But that little chip shot in by Brunet is just about what we can expect from the Montreal Canadiens. 1 man in, 2 guys back.
Marty McSorley. His shot deflected. Desjardins got a piece of that. Muller goes over to get it. Kurt Muller in the corner. Tomas Sandstrom on him. 21 seconds remaining here. And that'll be pinned up for the face-off.
Say 1 guy in and 2 guys back. Talk about forwards. It's really 1 man in and 4 guys back when you add the defenseman into the equation. And that will pose a huge problem for the LA Kings.
Kurt Muller, 10 goals in the playoffs. An heir apparent to the C. So the Montreal Canadiens now worn by Guy Carbonneau.
Well, the trend has continued on the block shots. Through the first 4 games, 50-23, Montreal ahead, and tonight 9-2. I don't have a number, but I imagine Carbonneau has about 4 or 5 of those.
20 seconds remaining here in the second period. Guy Carbonneau kicked it in behind the net. Mile low line to the corner with it, avoids the check. Puck comes up along the boards. Bellows clears it out of the zone. Back to get it is Rob Blake. A 3-1 lead for Montreal. Goals picked up here. DiPietro, Muller, and LeBeau. Marty McSorley for the Kings. 1 more period to the cup. And Patrick Waugh, if they maintain the lead, will undoubtedly be the Conn Smythe MVP of the playoffs. This man knows chances left at another skate with the cup. Maybe down to just 1 period for his great career. Montreal Canadiens 3, the Los Angeles Kings 1. John?
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Back to the forum in a moment. The Montreal Canadiens now just 20 minutes away from yet another Stanley Cup championship. Welcome to the Dodge Intermission Report. Between periods, the professors of this sport will take a look back at the second period and more as well. As Montreal tries to close in, Kurt Muller made it a 2-1 game here as he slips it underneath Kelly Rudy. It's now 3-1 after 2.
The Dodge Intermission Report is presented by the New Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation.
Welcome back to the Dodge Intermission Report. 3-1 Montreal with the lead in the game. 3-1 the lead in the series, and 20 more minutes this could all be over. Montreal so impressive in many aspects of the game. Face-offs especially, and again especially when they're shorthanded.
Is it that Montreal is so good or Los Angeles is so bad? Montreal scores a goal in the power play to make it 3-1, a big goal for them. Los Angeles had a chance in the power play a couple of times in the second period. They can't even win a face-off to try and get the power play going. Look at this. Power play, Los Angeles. You need the puck to control it, to get offensive flow going. Carbonneau beats Curry. Curry's not even a natural centerman, yet he's playing that position. Montreal fires it down, and you can see Los Angeles out of flow. 10 seconds knocked off before they got the puck. Again, neutral zone draw. Carbonneau beats Curry. You see Daniel take his time, take his time, take his time, and the time goes tick, 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 and it's ticking out on Los Angeles. This time, Los Angeles on the power play almost win the draw. Gretzky and Carbonneau, yet Carbonneau and teammates fire the puck down the ice, and it takes time and time and time again for Los Angeles to control the puck, and they can't get any offensive flow going. They can't get anything going 5-on-5. Montreal's been so good defensively. They look to their power play and they can't win a draw. It's amazing. You look around the league, Detroit's power play was #1 during the regular season. Yzerman wins draws. Pittsburgh was #2. Ron Francis wins draws. St. Louis #3. Craig Janney wins draws. Los Angeles, I think it's flat out amazing. They're in the Stanley Cup Finals because they don't win draws, and that's a large part of the game.
Keep in mind, they're down 2 goals. They've come back from down 2. They've come back from down 3 to force overtime, so that must be on their minds. But also on their minds, they've lost 3 consecutive overtime games in this series. Montreal has won 10 consecutive overtime games after losing the first one of the playoffs, so we thought you might like a look back at the 10 overtime winners.
Cleared in, Damphousse, nice move, shooting right on, they score! With Muller, Vincent Damphousse, cross to Muller, shot scores! Kirk Muller! Kearney battling for it, they go crashing in, Ronan and Kearney, here's a loose puck, Savard to Carbonneau, they score! Guy Carbonneau wins it for Montreal!
Bellows getting another chance, top of the slot, scoring goal! Breeze block!
Kurt Muller. Kurt Muller the shot. And he scores!
3-on-2 for the moment. Fitzgerald trying to get back. Damphousse drops it. LeBeau shot. Scores! LeBeau! Canadiens win in double overtime. 4-3. Canadiens back the other way. 3-on-3. They wait to set it up. Carbonneau scores! Guy Carbonneau, the captain of the Canadiens. Desjardins scores! Montreal! Leclerc scores! John Leclerc waiting, hit Kelly Rooney. Leclerc trying to back it in. He scores! John Leclerc!
Those last 3 seem like the same game now. They're all running together. But if you look at these, obviously some luck has to be involved. You don't win 10 in a row in overtime totally on skill, but there's a lot of skill involved there.
Well, the luck would be the spectacular goaltending of Patrick Roy to enable his team to stay in the game until they get a chance to score. That is not luck. That's just great goaltending. The other thing you have to note, of the overtime goals, they were scored by 7 different players. Only 2 guys had 2. Muller had 2, Carbonneau, and then Leclerc had 2. So that is great teamwork, and that is what the Canadiens have relied on all season long and throughout the playoffs.
In watching all of those goals go in, Kirk Muller, I saw his number 11 on the ice for 4 of them, and Carbonneau on the ice for 3 of them. Your leaders have to lead at the proper time of the game, and along with Patrick Roy, those 3 have gotten it done. You never underestimate blue collars, I don't think. When you see this team, and it's not the best team in the league talent-wise, yet it's the best team, the way they play. Going into the playoffs next season, I don't think Montreal or Los Angeles will be there unless somebody falters. They're just not that good. Yet you see what they do when they get a chance. When somebody gets knocked off, watch out. Montreal is just a fabulous, fabulous team led by a good coach.
And certainly fabulous in overtime because they've won 10 in a row. Los Angeles would like to force an overtime right now, down by 2 goals. Montreal, in the recent championship years, you can see what they've done against Calgary and the Rangers, 4 straight. Remember that, J.D.?
Magic Moments, presented by Dodge. Wayne Gretzky is called the Great One, and there are plenty of facts to back that up, including his unprecedented 9 Hart trophies as league MVP. But perhaps Gretzky's greatest moment came in 1982 when he broke Phil Esposito's season record for goals scored. His 77th goal broke the record, and he finished the year with an amazing 92 goals. For Wayne Gretzky, it was truly a magic moment.
Welcome back once again to the Dodge Intermission Report. The third period is straight ahead. Jim, we talked about this earlier. Wayne Gretzky setting up the Kings missing their opportunities. Montreal, on the other hand, when they get a chance, they seem to take advantage.
Yeah, and they didn't have a lot of chances, but like you say, when they get a great scoring chance, they take advantage of it. Rob Blake is a guy for the Kings we expect a lot of, and he expects a lot of himself. At times, he does a little bit too much. He likes to throw his weight around, but when you throw your weight around, you've got to get back into the play. This is the Habs in the attack. You'll see Blake doing what he does so well. A big hit there on Kirk Muller. Now watch as the play continues. Behind the net, Dompouz is going to outmuscle Curry, but Muller beats Blake to the front of the net. When you take a guy out, you got to beat him back into the play. Curry's going to get beat right here by LeBeau. Just a half a step, that's all it takes. A nifty pass from Keane. And there are the goals. I mean, you just can't give up good chances like that. Hitting we've talked about. It's so important when you crank a guy that you have a purpose for the hit. You've got to get a turnover so your team has the puck, you get on the attack, or at least stop his progress. There the progress has started, but if the guy beats you back in the play, it's all for nothing.
Especially there because you saw clearly Blake had position on Muller too. Let him get around him, get back into the play. All right, we'll continue with more in just a moment. The third period is straight ahead. There's Keane again with the nice pass between the legs of Huddy and LeBeau, between the legs of Rudy. Right now it's 3-1 after 2.
ESPN's presentation of the Stanley Cup Finals is brought to you by Miller Lite. It's everything you want a beer to be. By the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. And by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
Unless you've grown up in Canada, in a small town somewhere, and watched Hockey Night in Canada, and wanted to bring the cup home to your little city, you can't imagine how wonderful it is to have that baby in your hands. Welcome back, everybody. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement for the Los Angeles Kings. Maybe only one more period left. Jari Kurri, Tomas Sandstrom have not had a shot on goal, but they aren't alone.
No, Wayne Gretzky hasn't had a shot either, Gary. You know, offense is kind of simple for some coaches. They say you've got to acquire time and space. Defensively, you deny time and space. Wayne Gretzky was on the ice in the second period, but here's what happened. See, Kirk Muller picked him up as soon as he passed the puck, stayed with him, and watched him. And if the Canadiens weren't watching Wayne Gretzky, they were doing what they've done pretty well in this series, and that is take him out of the play physically. Guy Carbonneau on this one. So the combination of Muller and Carbonneau really was all over Wayne Gretzky in the second period, and as a result, Wayne Gretzky was only discouraged at the end of the second period. He has to crank it up. This may be the last 20 minutes of his chance to get the Stanley Cup, and you can see he's played 16:44 out of 40, 22 shifts, but zeros all the way down. Points, shots, and scoring chances.
And you can hear the crowd behind us, all the noise being made. They are ready to celebrate, and you're looking at the eyes of hockey's greatest players, but they aren't the eyes that looks like an expectant come from behind win. Not there. Not right now, anyway. Third period, ready to go.
I'm sure that people watching that are LA Kings fans are waiting for Barry Melrose to do something system-wise or X's and O's wise or technically to get the Kings back into this hockey game. You can't do it. It's as simple as that. You can see that the Kings are 0-5 when trailing going into the third period in the playoffs. But against a team that's as good defensively as Montreal and as disciplined a team as Montreal, there aren't any X's and O's that are answers to this situation.
Here we go. Let's see if this is it for the 1992-93 season of the National Hockey League. Played at center ice. Kirk Muller got it in, got jammed up. Muller sending it in for Leclerc. Leclerc to Bellows, and he tipped it wide. He had two Kings on his back, but he did get a tip. Darryl Sador. His pass bounces off the boards, forces Corey Millen back deep. Lost the edge on that one over to Sador. Just underway in the third. Canadiens up 3-1. Victory here, and we will have the great Stanley Cup skate here at the Forum in Montreal. Cleared ahead. Patrick Roy lets it go. Lyle Odeline goes back to get it, and that will be called for the icing. 45 seconds in the period number 3.
the only thing Barry Melrose could do is, if he thinks there's an illegal stick on the Montreal Canadiens bench, to call it at one point in this game. I mentioned earlier that the Canadiens feel that Barry Melrose still has at least one player using an illegal stick, and that is Marty McSorley. But you know what? You never call an illegal stick unless you're about to be put into a terrible situation, a disadvantage.
Schneider's save made by Kelly Rudy. Kept in by Guy Carbonneau. Carbonneau behind the net to Brunet. Brunet with Gretzky there. Brunet comes out. His shot deflected, not in on net. Guy Carbonneau's got it. And it's the Canadiens who come out here in the third period and keep the pressure on. Brunet, Blake moves over on him. Played Carbonneau, tied up by Zhitnik. Takes him down. Zhitnik comes away with a puck, gets it up for Reichel, but he could not handle it. This is going to be an icing call. Nope, Waugh decides not to take the chance. Reichel sends it back in behind the net to Gretzky. Gretzky out there with Tomas Sandstrom and Warren Reichel again. Reichel hanging on, looking for Gretzky. He's being held on to by Guy Carbonneau behind the net. Ed Ronan just jams it out to take the heat off. Marty McSorley, both teams change it up. McSorley on the touch, and that will be an icing call. Our Miller Lite scoring summary in this game with the Canadiens on top throughout. DiPietro is 7th of the playoffs in the first at 15-10. Lehman and Leclerc. Marty McSorley tied it up. 2:40 of the second. Carson and Robitaille, but it didn't take long for Kurt Muller to respond with his 10th of the playoffs at 3:51. Damphus and Odeline. Then they added huge goal. LeBeau getting it on the power play. That's his third from Keane and Leclerc.
No, Gary, to further that point on calling the stick measurement, you can't use it to win a series. You only use it to avoid losing. If you're in a position to win, you can only hurt your situation if it backfires on you. So you have to be in a desperate situation, and that's why Montreal, about to go down 2-0 in this series, called the stick. The LA Kings are now in a desperate situation, so they might call it, but Montreal will never call it in this game.
Boy, Marty McSorley fell down and couldn't get back up in time to avoid a chance right there for the Canadiens. Robitaille brings it in. Shuchuk, the intended. Brisebois tipped it away. Mark Hardy sends it in. However, the Kings have got to clear the zone here. 2.5 minutes into this third period. Played by Mike Keane. Keane ahead. McSorley. McSorley backs it up for Charlie Huddy. The Los Angeles Kings coming in after finishing 11th overall during the regular season. Never had the home ice advantage in the playoffs, yet made it to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Canadiens, who finished 6th overall in the league. Back to get it. Sador in the touch-up. That's going to be another icing call. Face-off back in was.
Well, I'll tell you something. If the Montreal Canadiens continue to dump the puck down the ice, guys like Yari Curry are going to have a field day with scoring opportunities because they're going to get so many face-offs in the other end. Besides that, on the last rush, the Montreal defense for the first time all game backed in. The closer you get to the Stanley Cup, the more careful you're going to be, and the Montreal Canadiens are showing signs already, and we've only played 2.5 minutes of the third period, that they're trying to protect this lead. With that mentality, it's kind of like the prevent defense in football. People say it prevents you from winning. You know one thing, you're going to give the opposition scoring chances if you go into that mentality.
Plenty of time left in this game. Patrick Waugh to put away career victory number 67 in net. And a Conn Smythe trophy to go with it, everyone believes, if they win. Off the face-off, Carson and Muller. Rolled in on Waugh by Granato. DiPietro can't get it out. Sador shoots it back in. Granato tried to tip it, couldn't. Played on the near side. Dufresne up for Muller. Muller looking to the middle, has DiPietro with him, sends it down the boards. Called DiPietro with Darryl Sador. DiPietro. Dion is joined in. Gilbert Dion in the middle. Gary Lehman the shot as he went short side and missed it. Matt Conacher clears it out. They were trying to break Granato, who was cutting. This is going to be an icing call the other way. Snyder on the touch-up. Canadiens 3 and the Los Angeles Kings 1. They wave it off. It'll be played out of the zone by Montreal. Desjardins in the middle. DiPietro couldn't get it. Now does. Taken away. Huddy. Zhitnik checked it away. Gretzky sending it up. Sandstrom and Donnelly come out with Gretzky now. Lyle Odeline flips it down the board. Zhitnik. And Zhitnik's going to be forced to play this. Canadiens change. Canadiens in particular will try and keep fresh legs on the ice. Keep those shifts short here in the third. Renee sends it in. Blake back. Rudy there. Left it for Blake. Guy Carbonneau forcing the play from behind the net. Blake up to Gretzky. Donnelly cutting. Dumped it in. Donnelly had to hold up to stay on side. Odeline back to get it. Montreal crowd. Lots of noise. Donnelly. And it'll increase with each tick of the clock. Matthew Schneider over to Guy Carbonneau. Carbonneau waiting, dropped it in the middle. Ronan the shot, missed it as he went high over the left shoulder of Kelly Rudy. Shipnick again plays it back. The Montreal Canadiens, an incredible 72% winning percentage in their history on home ice. 208 wins and 82 losses here at the Forum in the playoffs. Unbelievable number. Yari Curry brings it up and dumps it in. Played by J.J. Daigneault. Daigneault back. Robitaille had moved up. Held in by Yari Curry. Robitaille. Shuchuk's in front of the net. Taken away by LeBeau. Not out. Mark Hardy holds it in. Robitaille again. Robitaille sent it. Curry was cutting. Couldn't get there ahead of Muller. Deflected by Leclaire into the seats. 15:23 left in the third. Waiting in net with the face-off coming to his left as a number of draws being taken here, but Kurt Muller won that one, denying the scoring opportunity off the face-off again. Taken by Bellows. Brian Bellows moves it in. His shot, Rudy the save. Finds it, tips it away from Leclaire. Leclaire back for Muller. On the near side, nobody chasing, so Leclaire over. I'll tell you one thing surprising me right now. The Kings do not have that jump I thought we'd see. Daigneault deflects off Leclaire's back. Muller the shot poked away by Kelly Rudy. That last puck in the corner, everyone stood there and waited for somebody else to go get it.
Ryan McSorley and John Leclaire locked up in the corner. Two big guys.
Kurt Muller. Larry Curry. Mark Hardy stepped in, finally, taken by Bellows, and he sends it back behind the net. McSorley goes back to get it. Tied up again. These seconds are seconds that the Kings need. Leclaire got it. Robitaille. And Robitaille will try and head man it himself.
Well, that's the second time that Leclaire and McSorley locked up, and Leclaire won that battle.
Hardy McSorley in. Patrick Roy deflects it to the corner. It'll be picked up by Brisebois. Brisebois sends it out. Muller and Hardy are still tied up. And now McSorley runs Muller in front of the Kings bench. That won't be forgotten. Held in by Mike Keane. Keane, Damphus. Tipped away. Carson able to get it up to Sador. Coming with Conacher. Sador. Conacher falls down, cutting to the middle. Sador, Desjardins on him. Dufresne clears it around. Charlie Huddy held it in, and it poke checked away by Damphus. 13:45 remaining to go. Canadiens trying to pick up their 24th Stanley Cup. Trying to win one here at home. Overskated. Sandstrom's got it. Tomas Sandstrom. Charlie Huddy unable to connect. Dufresne goes back to get it. Donald Dufresne around the boards intended for Keane. Deflects up over the glass, and that'll be a souvenir. John.
Time now for the Dodge Stanley Cup flashback back to 1986. And Patrick Roy. He was 20 years old and a rookie, but he was just as tough as he's been in this series. The youngest player to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. Montreal wins its record 23rd Stanley Cup, and unless the Kings can come back and Wayne Gretzky would win the Conn Smythe, it'll be Patrick Roy.
Patrick Roy would try and join some select company and two-time winners. Gretzky, Lemieux, Bernie Perron, and Bobby Orr are the only players in the history of the Conn Smythe Award to have won it twice. Gretzky back out on the ice, but you can just see the energy just isn't there.
You know, John Davidson talked about the face-off situation for Los Angeles Kings. It becomes more and more crucial for them to gain possession of the puck quickly because they are running out of time. It's 13 minutes and 22 seconds to go. Every time they lose a face-off, they're going to lose 10 to 15 seconds. Barry Melrose is still trying to fire them up.
Gretzky again waiting on the draw here. There you see the numbers in it. Matthew Schneider takes it behind the net. That one won by Guy Carbonneau. Lyle Odeline clears it. Up to the line. Ronan able to get it out and got knocked down. Tomas Sandstrom waiting. Sandstrom. Guy Carbonneau poked it away. Zhitnik plays it back in his own end. Zhitnik drops it in the middle. Ronan again losing that one to Lyle Odeline. Sent up. Carbonneau had lost his stick. Rudy trying to make the play to force it up ice. Ronan was there. Gretzky on the boards with Brunet. Now Sandstrom joins in. Puck still on the boards. Ronan takes the hit from Reichel, but freed it up. Blake's got it. Blake up for Reichel. Reichel, Gretzky, and Sandstrom out. And the Kings will change it up. Lyle Odeline trying to tip it out. Reichel held it in. At center, Benoit Brunet. Brunet up to the red line. Gretzky stripped it from behind. Near side, Shuchuk's got it. Very Shuchuk for Blake. Blake kicked it outside the zone, though. Has to come back to get it. 12:28 left to go. At center, by Carty. Carty in. Patrick Roy behind the net. Stephane Lebeau got it by Reichel. This is going to be an icing call and a stop play. Marty McSorley moving over for the touch-up. The Kings facing the clock now with 12:14 left. Last time the Cup was won in '86, it was won on the road. They had an enormous crowd out on St. Catharines in downtown Montreal. What is it going to be like if they win this game at home? Last time they won it at home was 78-79. Only one of the last 8 Cups the Canadiens have won has been won here in Montreal.
What's the next size bigger than enormous?
Google played behind the net. J.J. Daigneault. Dion clears it out of the zone. Back to get it is Donnelly. Donnelly sends it in. They have the entire police force of Montreal and surrounding suburbs in force. Most of them right outside the Forum right now. Cleared back in. Corey Millen. Millen tried to drop it back. Down the middle. Millen was open. Couldn't get it. Millen backs it up. Donnelly. Shuchuk. Shot. Wide. Has it. Deflected back to Donnelly. Donnelly lost the puck. Stripped away from him by Muller. Dion. Gilbert. Save made and batted up in the air by Kelly Rudy. Gilbert Dion again. Shot tipped wide by DiPietro. Gary Lehman. Save made by Rudy. And he will hang on to this one.
Boy, the LA Kings bench went nuts when Mark Hardy was tripped at the other end and there was no call. And the Kings continued to press. 2 good scoring chances. And when you press in that far, you're going to give up something at the other end. That's how Gilbert Dion got his scoring chance. Here the Kings pressing. Good play by Mike Donnelly. Try to wrap around. Look at Patrick Roy. Hit him right dead on the stick. And Donnelly never could get the next shot through. Watch Kirk Muller come to him. Kirk Muller was able to work his skates again. Man, without his stick, he still worked it with the skates and sent Gilbert Dion away. Dion outlegged Marty McSorley for this scoring chance. Fantastic save by Kelly Rudy. That was labeled high for the corner.
Crowd's ready. Leclaire. Sador. Hardy's got a piece of him. Leclaire still has the puck. Leclaire. Right through the top of the crease. Robitaille over to get it. This is really what the Canadiens team is all about. Here they are with a 3-1 lead. They are the ones putting the pressure on here in the 3rd period.
That's what they have to do after the first 3 minutes of this period. They've really straightened their game around. I'm sure Jacques Demers said, hey guys, attack a little bit. Come on.
Buddy shot deflected. Bellows blocked that one. Leclaire's got it. Not out of the zone yet, though. Poked away by Desjardins to center. Kings clear. Puck free. Robitaille taking down Dufresne. Back in the zone. Desjardins again to Bellows. Bellows tips it ahead so as not to ice it, but got it in the zone. Hardy back to get it. Montreal changing it up. 10:36 left in the 3rd. Guy Carbonneau giving chase. Sador will get there first. Hit by Carbonneau after he got it up along the boards to Robitaille. Dropped off. Huddy behind the player. Robitaille and Guy Carbonneau go at it. Shot in. Charlie Huddy got it in the zone. Taken by Gretzky. Gretzky trying to center Curry, who is cutting. Gretzky comes back to get it. Gretzky sends it in. Had Carbonneau on him. Patrick Roy comes out to play it. Carbonneau and Gretzky along the boards. Gretzky trying to get it to the point. Had it stolen. Benoit Brunet. Brunet taken down. Puck still free. Blake has got it. Gretzky stays out. Blake moving in. Blake halfway through the 3rd period. The Canadiens halfway to the cup. Gretzky behind the net. Gretzky looking in front. Curry missed it. Guy Carbonneau up for Brunet. That was a great chance. Brunet coming in. Gary Curry in front. Tried to tip that pass from Wayne Gretzky and just couldn't get the stick on it. Canadiens change it up again as they send it deeper into the zone. Shitnik back to get it. Los Angeles, their first Stanley Cup Finals. Trying to pull out one here in the final half of the 3rd to keep this series alive. Keane knocked away by McSorley. On the boards. No one's got it. McSorley back. McSorley cross ice for Donnelly. Donnelly with Corey Millen and Shuchuk. Millen brings it in. Poked away. Breeze bought the point. Shot. Deflected in on Wow, who made the save. Good hard shot. Mark Hardy.
Right at Patrick Roy. I'm surprised he didn't knock the wind out of him. It hit him right in the Canadiens logo.
Icing.
the popular owner of the Los Angeles Kings, Bruce McNall, can only look on and I'm sure feel the frustration that his guys on the bench and Barry Melrose are feeling right now. They've only got 1 goal in this hockey game, and scoring goals has been their problem against Patrick Roy and the Montreal Canadiens. They got 4 in game 1, but one of them was an empty netter. There's Patrick Roy's save on Mark Hardy's big drive, and Hardy really ripped that one to hit him right in the chest. And the LA Kings tried to take away some of Patrick Roy's good luck charm superstition today by not showing up for the morning skate. Every morning skate in the playoffs in this building, Patrick Roy has come out and he's sat in the same seat, box 105, row B, seat 7. That gentleman with the glasses is sitting in row B, seat 7 in box 105. But that is where Patrick Roy has sat in every home game in the playoffs to watch the opposition skate. There was no opposition to watch this morning.
Makes it an easy watch. 9:03 left to go here in the third period. Carson comes out. Muller will move in to take the face-off against him. Robitaille, Carson, and Granato. Carson on the draw was trying to push it into Robitaille, cutting to the net. Marty McSorley. McSorley clears it up for Granato. Tony Granato moves in with Carson. Jimmy Carson, the shot, saved by Roy. Pulls it in, Robitaille. Robitaille put a check. And will get away with it on a cross-check of the side of the net. Roy's got the puck in the lead. DiPietro got the first goal in this game. McSorley tied it in the second. Muller gave them the lead just over a minute later, and LeBeau, goal number 3. 3-1 Montreal. They can't help but keep sneaking a peek up at that clock as we head to the bench. Tipped up in the air. Muller able to clear it out of the zone. Blake back to get it. Blake sends it in. DiPietro back. Desjardins. Eric Desjardins. Blake again at center. Blake dumps it in. Look for just an absolute flurry here by the Kings. With 8:24 left to go, they've got to just mount it, send everybody in, and just charge. DiPietro couldn't hold it in the zone. Gary Lehman just came off the bench, dumped it back in. Cleared up ahead by Zhitnik. Zhitnik with Carson and Granato. Granato off his skate. Schneider not out. Blake the shot. Deflected wide off the back of the net. Centered. In front. Shot blocked. Granato. Granato couldn't get it again for the shot. DiPietro comes. Dion with him. Blake in the middle. Gilbert Dion. DiPietro. Dion. DiPietro scores! Second of the game! 4-1 Canadiens!
Sure, when Jacques Demers asked who wanted to be a hero, Paul DiPietro was one of the first guys to stand up. 2 goals in exactly the same location in the net. Top glove side on Kelly Rudy. Paul DiPietro during the regular season scored a total of 4 goals for the Montreal Canadiens. He played 29 games. Here tonight he has 2, a good feed from Gilbert Dion. And in the playoffs, Paul DiPietro for the Montreal Canadiens has 8 goals.
Lyle Odeline got one of the assists. Dion had the other. 12:06. DiPietro. 8 overall. Second of this series. Both in this game. And the Montreal Canadiens. The countdown is underway. 7:33 left to go in the third period. That's how much for the cup. Jari Kurri. Tomas Sandstrom. Blocked. Desjardins. Jari Kurri to Gretzky. Kicked into the corner. McSorley puts the hit on. Picked up Guy Carbonneau. The Canadiens captain with Ronan in the middle. Carbonneau waiting. Brunet cutting. So with Ronan. Nobody got a stick on that one. Comes to the near side. 7 minutes left to go. Jari Kurri. Canadiens change. Kurri to Gretzky. Gretzky into the middle. Kurt Muller is there. Muller clears it out. Hardy fell down. Gets Leclaire though as he goes by. Hardy steps up for it. Mark Hardy leaves it at center for Tomas Sandstrom. Lost it to Muller again. Muller to Leclaire. Leclaire, Muller and Bellows. Just missed Kurt Muller. Muller sends it back. Leclaire giving it up to him. Backed up Sador. Muller steps in front. Muller left it in the corner. Bellows. Bellows with Sandstrom on him. Bellows centering pass. Leclaire was coming in front. Got knocked down in front of the net by Mark Hardy. Gretzky brings it back for the Kings. Gretzky moving. J.J. Daigneault. Donnelly the shot. Blocked again. Lyle on the line. Leclaire. They've blocked almost as many shots as they've won overtime games. Amazing. Part of the story here, blocked shots in this series.
And besides that, Gary, you know, a lot of people talk in sports about the little things. It's the little things that add up to victories. And the Canadiens have won in all the little categories that we've been tracking as well.
Fundamental play. Held in by LeBeau. Behind the net, Danfus. Danfus. Jitnik moves in. Danfus tried to wrap around. Blake got it. Blake sends it out. Brisebois back to get it. 5 minutes and 38 seconds left in this game and in the season. Tipped away by Rudy. Keane moved in. Jitnik knocks it away. The Montreal Canadiens, 76 years of hockey. They have had 6 different names of teams that have won the Stanley Cup. The AAA team, the Victorias, the Shamrocks, the Wanderers, the Maroons, the Canadiens. Shot DiPietro, bounces off the glass. Kelly Rudy backed it up. Near side, Dufresne. Donald Dufresne. He will get his name on the cup if this lead holds up for another 5 minutes. Corey Millen has got it. Millen comes, dumps it in wide side. Granato back. Desjardins. Eric Desjardins lost it. Robitaille. Robitaille couldn't get it. Desjardins ahead for McSorley. Dion was there. Couldn't get it as McSorley took it away. Back comes Dion 2-on-2. DiPietro. DiPietro. Dion! Kelly Rudy knocks it away. Sliding from left to right to make the save. Puck will be touched for icing. They let it go as long as they can. 4:30 left. Currently on that cup, Patrick Roy and Guy Carbonneau. The last time they won it. Behind the net, Jari Kurri has it. 4:22 left to go. The Los Angeles Kings down by 3. And Montreal dominating play again here in the 3rd period. McSorley comes over trying to freeze it up. Guy Carbonneau pinned it up on the boards. They say intentionally, and they'll move the face-off out of the zone.
You know, Barry Melrose didn't buy into the ghosts, didn't buy into the theory that the Montreal Canadiens had the hockey gods in the rafters here looking out for the Montreal Canadiens. He said that would be an insult to Jacques Demers. He said if I was up 3-1 in a series and somebody said that a coach who coached 40 years ago was responsible for my win, I would be insulted. And that was paying respect to Jacques Demers.
I think he misses the point on that one, though. Cleared ahead to Carbonneau. In the corner, Huddy. Huddy trying to back it out. Carbonneau pushes it away. Ronan over to get it. Ronan and Reichel. Reichel almost took his head off. Kings having trouble getting out of the zone here. Down to 3:50 remaining. Huddy drops it in the middle. Ronan checked it away. Donald Dufresne with it. Dufresne sends it up through center. Played there by Brunet. And in again on Rudy.
I think I'm inclined to agree with you. When you consider that since World War II, the Canadiens, the longest they have gone without a Stanley Cup is 7 years. And guess what? This is the 7th year since they won their last one, 1986.
To recognize you are part of a great hockey heritage takes nothing away from those who play at any given point in time. Matthew Snyder tipped up in the air. Leclaire. John Leclaire drops it off. Bellows couldn't handle it. Comes back out to center ice. 3 minutes and 13 seconds remaining to go. Darryl Sador's got it. Sador bounces it off the boards. Schneider sends it right back in. The fans just wanting to explode, already envisioning in their mind's eye the sight they know is to come in 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Sador, his shot deflected in front, sent back out.
And Montreal, for a very good reason, has gone to the 0-5 forecheck. Nobody in, 5 guys back.
Everybody playing defense. Knocked down by LeBeau. LeBeau again sending it in on Kelly Rudy. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. As we said at the top, sports is always great theater. Scripts are written in sports like this one. Why shouldn't the Stanley Cup be in Montreal, won by the Canadiens on its 100th anniversary? No one's had it more than they. DiPietro, Paul DiPietro deflected into the corner. Brisebois just dumps it in behind the net. It'll be brought out by Blake. 2 minutes to the cup. Patrick Roy lets it go over his head. Brisebois trying to jam it out. Robitaille there. Batted at Keane. Keane sends it out of the zone. Will be icing. Kelly Rudy plays it. The fans are rising. 1:44 left to go. Carbonneau in. Zhitnik on him. Carbonneau with the puck underneath him. Zhitnik pokes it away. 1 minute and 30 seconds. And the Montreal Canadiens getting set to put away their 24th Stanley Cup. Carson tipped it into the corner. Dufresne up for Brunet. Robitaille, poke checked away. Donald Dufresne. This will be an icing call. 1 minute and 5 seconds left.
They know it's theirs.
The cup you'll see at the end, the original cup was retired in 1969. The replica is on top. They've continued to take layers off the cup as it's continued to be loaded up, of course, with the rings. Last time they took off the rings from 1928 to 1940 were retired. The original cup and those rings are in the Hall of Fame. The cup you'll see out there is still the Stanley Cup, the oldest in sports to be chased down by professional teams. Matthew Schneider. 1 minute left to go. Bellows from center. Ends up in the seats. 46.6 remaining. Patrick Roy. Conn Smythe Award will be announced after the game. The MVP, Leclerc, brings it in. Under 30 left to go. They will win this 4 games to 1, just as they have won the last 2 cups. Roy lets it go wide. The final 15 seconds, just turn it up, listen, and look at the sound of a Stanley Cup champion.
Gretzky's last crack at a Stanley Cup. And he may no longer be the greatest player in the world as we speak, but to me, he's the greatest player who's ever played the game.
There's not one negative vote on that one, I'll tell you. You saw the Conn Smythe trophy along with the Stanley Cup being prepared to be brought out on the ice. There's the man that's going to take it home.
There is no question about this Stanley Cup. The Canadiens are deserving champions. 6 games against the Quebec Nordiques, 4 against the Buffalo Sabres, 5 against the New York Islanders in the conference final, and 5 to wrap it up. They deserved it.
Now a Stanley Cup winner as a coach. Jacques Lemaire brought back after doing broadcast work, after being out of the game as a head coach for a couple of years.
And what a touching moment when he came over the boards. Wayne Gretzky was the first one there to shake his hand, and he gave Jacques Demers his stick. Demers has now passed it on to one of the trainers, but Wayne Gretzky gave Jacques Demers his stick.
Denny Savard. One of the heroes of the Canadiens is with Tom Mees. Tom?
All right, Kirk Muller, the assistant captain of the Canadiens. Do you describe your feelings for us, Kirk?
Well, you look over all those years and you always look at the champions and you think what a feeling would be great. And it took 9 years, but I'll tell you, we did it with everybody. Everyone paid the price, and it's the greatest feeling in the world right now.
What did you say to Wayne Gretzky and the LA Kings in the line?
Well, you got to give him a lot of credit. I don't think before the playoffs started, either team was expected to be here. And both teams played well as a club and both worked hard out to the playoffs, and they deserve a lot of credit. And we have played our best hockey to win it.
Can you describe it for folks in America, the feeling for a Canadian boy to win the Stanley Cup?
Well, it's like being, I don't know, a New York Yankee in baseball or something. This city just thrives on hockey and loves it. And to be able to win it here, it's just the greatest place to play, and we're all excited, and it's a great feeling.
Congratulations. Patrick Waugh, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, is with me now. Patrick, congratulations. Fantastic series and a well-deserved MVP.
Thank you very much, but, you know, that was a big team thing right now, and everybody was working hard, and that's the reason why Montreal won the Stanley Cup.
What did you say to Kelly Rudy in the reception line?
He was awesome on the other side. He made super save, and he was just great.
All right, they're handing out a piece of hardware now you may be interested in. You better go. All right, Jacques Demers, the head coach. John. All right, Jacques, I think they're handing the cup. You better go get it. We'll talk to you in a minute. It's pandemonium here on the ice. Let's go back upstairs to Gary.
There it is. Conn Smythe, Patrick Waugh, second time. Only the 5th ever to win it twice. Gretzky, Lemieux, Bernie Perron, and Bobby Orr. And now Patrick Waugh, 2-time winners.
And that is Denny Savard that just walked up to him and gave him a big smacker on the side of the cheek. As the clock was winding down, Denny Savard was standing behind the Montreal bench crying his eyes out.
That's the way it should be. Matthew Schneider.
And you know, Gary, there really wasn't anybody close.
Stanley, de la Coupe Stanley. On the 100th anniversary of the Stanley Cup, it is only fitting that it goes to the Montreal Canadiens for the 24th time. Congratulations to the players, to Ron Corey, to Serge Savard, to Jacques Demers. Guy Carbonneau, captain, please come and take the Stanley Cup.
Now you see one of sports' great moments right here.
And Gary, the first thing Guy Carbonneau did when his name was called was grab Denny Savard and drag him over to hold the cup first. What a captain.
That's Savard.
This pose comes naturally. It almost looks like they rehearsed it. They did not.
The wonderful thing about the Stanley Cup, most of these players will actually take it home. They will put it on a plane or in the back of a car during the summer. They'll actually take it to their towns and cities, show it off, have a party, have a parade. It's one of the long-standing traditions of the Stanley Cup. You can actually check it out. It has been lost, dropped, never destroyed. Tom Eaves.
Hi, Gary. I'm with the Canadiens captain, Guy Carbonneau. Guy, you embody, I think, what a captain should be. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. I think everybody deserves it. We worked really hard. A lot of people told us that we were lucky, but, 10 in a row, we had to work really hard. And tonight, there was a lot of pressure on ourselves, and we came really hard. So I think everybody deserves it.
What was the key in this series? Was it the play of your young defense or Patrick Roy? What was it?
I think it was everybody. I think during a regular season, a lot of people didn't think that we had a team to make it. We had a young defense. I know everybody knew what Patrick can do, but they really responded really well. A lot of the other teams put a lot of pressure on our defense. They kept coming back, and you got to give them credit. Now that we won, they deserve everything.
One more question for you. Classy thing you did, dragging Denny Savard over to get the cup.
Well, Denny, it's too bad for him. He couldn't play, but he's got a lot of. He's a team player. He wanted to be behind the bench. He makes a lot of. He gets involved a little bit. After 13 or 14 years, he deserves it.
You've been here before. It never gets old. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The captain of the Montreal Canadiens who won their 24th Stanley Cup. Great guy, Guy Carbonneau. Gary?
There is Denny Savard, and take a good look, because this is one of the few few times you will ever see the inside of the Montreal Canadiens locker room. It's a part of the superstitions. You see the great names and pictures that are put up over the lockers. Those plaques contain the names of the people who have played before in this team and who use that particular locker. Canadiens have won it 4-1. We hope we'll be back with you in just a moment. Hang on. John Saunders.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. And I got to tell you, a couple of melancholy guys sitting here. Jim Schoenfeld, 1975 with the Buffalo Sabres, losing to the Philadelphia Flyers. And in 1979, John Davidson with the New York Rangers, losing to the Montreal Canadiens. You guys know how the Kings feel, and you would like to feel what Montreal's feeling right now.
Yeah, you can't even describe the feeling. I mean, you see it in the eyes, you see it on the faces, the players, the trainers, the coaches. It's just magnificent. It's something I'll take to my grave, never having had that feeling. But I certainly appreciate the effort of the Canadiens and the Kings. Both teams played extremely well, extremely hard. And it was just a tremendous series. I mean, I enjoyed covering it. It was exciting just sitting in here, John.
I think it was a tremendous playoff. I really do. I think hockey is on a rise. There's a lot of things happening. Congratulations, of course, to Montreal for what they did. Again, complete team effort. A lot of blue collars there. Jacques Demers and team got it done. Congratulations to Los Angeles. They brought playoff glory to a new area in Southern California and across various parts of this country. And, of course, Wayne Gretzky. I think he's a treasure to the National Hockey League. Looking ahead, good luck to Gary Bettman as our commissioner. There's a lot of things on the table. There's a collective bargaining agreement that has to be settled over the summer. The referees agreement has to be settled. Welcome to Anaheim and to the Florida Panthers. We've got more hockey around the world. It's great stuff. And as Bob Johnson always said, it's a great day for hockey.
Great day for hockey.
It's a great playoff.
Absolutely right, yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, it certainly was. And congratulations once again to the Montreal Canadiens. They do it after losing Game 1, come back and win 4 straight against the Los Angeles Kings. We'll get back to the Montreal Forum, where they are still celebrating. Will be into the wee hours of the night in just a moment.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs. The magic of the '93 Stanley Cup Playoffs is yours forever with this power-packed video. You'll cheer the overtime victories, last-second dramas, and hockey's star-studded performances. You'll find all the spectacular players and plays in the official '93 Stanley Cup video. To order for $19.95 plus $4 shipping, use your credit card and call 1-800-688-1993. That's 1-800-688-1993.
4-1 is the final in the game. 4-1 is the final in the series. For the 24th time in their history, the Montreal Canadiens are Stanley Cup champions. For more on the celebration, let's go back to the Forum in Montreal.
All right, John, I'm here with Mike Keane of the Canadiens. Mike, in '89, you got close but no cigars. You lost to Calgary. How does it feel tonight in retrospect?
It feels super. You know, the team worked so hard to get here. People didn't believe in us, and, you know, we just worked extra hard to prove people wrong. We did that tonight. We got a great effort from everyone tonight.
You had a good point there. Neither team was expected to make it this far. 2 third-place finishes in the regular season. What was it that came together for you in the playoffs?
Well, teamwork. You know, we had 20 players moving at all times, and when you do that, you're a scary bunch of individuals. And, you know, we had a couple young kids, Paul DiPietro and John Leclerc, who played great for us.
Mike, congratulations very much. And speaking of John Leclerc, the pride of St. Albans, Vermont is stepping up here right now. Your sister in Philadelphia watching tonight?
Yeah, I'm sure she is. Nancy has been following my career pretty well, and I think she's back in Philly watching, along with my sister Mary in Minnesota.
All right, and we got all the hellos. I wanted to get those in there. What do you think, St.
I have one more sister back home, Susan, I'd like to say hi to, but other than that, I'm happy.
John, what is St. Albans, Vermont like tonight, do you think?
I think it's very happy. It's the Canadiens down, and I think they support me a great deal, and they'll be very happy for me.
You got, of course, the 2 big overtime winners in this series. This is going to be a series for you to remember for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite an enjoyable summer. I think when I look back out on this summer, I'm going to really enjoy it. But right now, it's a great game for the team. It's a team game, and the team won tonight. It's great.
This is a long grind getting to the Stanley Cup, isn't it?
Well, it seems like we've been playing forever. You know, it's the middle of June now. We got to go to camp in another 2 months. Kind of depressing, but it's all worth it.
When you were down 0-2 to Quebec, what was it that pulled it together for this team?
Well, we knew we were coming back home and that we haven't really lost any ground. If we just 1 or 2 games at home, we'd be all right. So, you know, that was the turning point, Game 3 in overtime, and then everything just seemed to go from there.
Okay, thank you. And congratulations, John Leclerc. Let's bring in Brian Bellows. How are you?
All right.
I like the way that hat looks on your head. Brian, this has got to be very poignant for you. You got a lot of friends watching in Minnesota that no longer has a franchise. Would you like to say anything to them?
I just want to say it would have been great doing it 2 years ago, but thank God I finally got a chance to do it, because it's the greatest thrill in the world. love it. I really love it.
I asked every player this. What was it that pulled it together for this team? You were down 2-0 to your arch rivals in the first round. It seems every team that wins the Cup has a close call. What got it together for you?
I just think the character of this team came through, and we all pulled together, and we found each other. The preparation and just the heart. I mean, you look around this room, all the famous players, and there is character, and it really helps you.
This is a big grind getting this far. I don't think the average fan appreciates how long it takes.
I tell you, I told Kirk Muller 4 minutes ago it's going to be the greatest and most fun, hard work we're going to have the rest of our life, these last 4 minutes, and it did. You're tired, but at the same time, you're exhilarated.
Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Brian Bellows of the Montreal Canadiens, soon to join the ranks of the married men of America and Canada. Now let's go upstairs to Gary Thorne.
Tom, thank you very much. And it is a long, hard grind to get to the Stanley Cup. But as we said, for these players, it is a lifelong dream. And that's why Denny Savard was in tears behind the bench.
Gary, every player that Tom talked to mentioned team. And I think everybody that wins the Stanley Cup or wins a championship understands what that's all about. To me, it's incredible that year after year after year, the Canadiens are able to maintain that team atmosphere here. When you consider that in the last 45 years, this franchise has only missed the playoffs once. In the last 51 years, they have only been below 500 on home ice during the regular season once out of 51 years. Why? Because just about every athlete they bring into the organization understands the term team, and you win championships when you understand team.
Yep, there really was no other way to define this as we went along in this series, trying to point out to you the things to watch for and the things that were going to be happening. We thought it ultimately for Montreal, day after day, game after game, came down to simply TEAM. Should mention Los Angeles Kings, their locker room is still closed. They are meeting, I'm sure, with Barry Melrose. Bruce McNall is here talking to them, and they just need a moment to regroup before they face the onslaught of the press. A surprise Cinderella team is what they were in the playoffs. Kelly Rudy couldn't have played better. They just met a better team and a better goaltender.
Well, Gary, they may be a surprise team, and they were, I agree, a surprise team in the playoffs. That doesn't ease the pain. And what we have just witnessed in the Montreal Canadiens dressing room with Tom Mees and all of those players, all of the joy and all of the celebration, the pain is equal on the other end of the spectrum in the LA Kings locker room right now, and that's why they have their locker room closed. I'm sure that they're feeling very close right now and probably communicating that love that they have for one another, because they became a team as this year went along as well. And Barry Melrose deserves a ton of credit as the catalyst that brought them together. Wayne Gretzky has always been a team player. But the same thing goes for the LA Kings, what I said about the Montreal Canadiens. You do not make it to the Stanley Cup Finals without understanding the concept of team.
And worthy of note in this, as the series is over and the season ends, not very long ago, the Pittsburgh Penguins were simply it. I mean, I think most of us put them in a category alone and said somebody may challenge, but it certainly was expected they would be in the finals. Parity in the National Hockey League this season, which the officials of the league have wanted, came to be. We saw so many teams so competitive, evidenced by the two that ended up in the finals.
You're absolutely right, Gary, and that doesn't mean that the Pittsburgh Penguins will not be back next year. I happen to think that right now perhaps the Penguins are the prohibitive favorites to win the Stanley Cup again next year before the season has even started. But an indication of how far the Montreal Canadiens have come. They were down 2-0 to the Quebec Nordiques and went to overtime in Game 3. Had they lost that, would we have seen them? We'll never know.
All right. Drenched in champagne, Tom Mees.
Okay. But Paul DiPietro had 2 goals tonight.
You know, we played a good game tonight, a solid all-around game, and it was just a great time to play good. And oh my God, this is great.
Paul, what was the key in this series?
Celebrated after that second goal. Well, I knew it was over. Then 4-1, you know it's over. And, holy shit, that's great. Now we're gonna go party on down St. Catharines. Anybody coming or what?
What was the key in this series, Paul? You guys' defense seemed to just shut them down at every time.
They wanted to go all offense, so that's all we gotta do is play good defense and wait for the breaks, and we did that tonight. It was a great feeling.
What do you think about Patrick Waugh's performance?
Patrick Waugh's the best goalie in the world right now. He's gonna make a lot of. He's a great guy and a great goalie, and without him we wouldn't have been here.
You're gonna make a lot of money. That's what you wanted to say.
I was gonna say that.
All right. Paul DiPietro, of course, Patrick Waugh's deal is up, and there's been some speculation he might be the first $3 million goaltender. We'll have to wait and see. Let's go back up to Gary and Bill.
I think Patrick Waugh will probably make just as much money as he wants to make, and I can't imagine him going anywhere else. Can you?
No, I can't imagine him wanting to go anywhere else. He's got to get the parade first. The Montreal Canadiens organization will have their parade not tomorrow, Thursday, but they will have it Friday after the city cools down a little bit.
Bill, we have another team that we didn't have time to thank here as these, because we never know when it's going to end, but our ESPN team has been nothing short of fantastic. One of those people with us here is Elmore Gandy.
The book's been a good book all year for the Kings. Did the epilogue ruin the season?
No, we didn't reach the goal we had, and we set our goals very high, but we made a lot of strides here, and we're becoming an excellent organization, and we've got it now, so our young players, our Sadors, Yidniks, and Blakes now expect to win, and our older players now have turned the corner, and you know, that's when you get an organization that expects to win, then you've got something.
People will look back at the stick measurement and say everything turned there. Did that call turn the series?
No, that call turned that game because it put them into overtime. They beat us in overtime, and then you know, the 2 other games at home we lost in overtime. We have to win those games. That's winning and losing. Once you get into overtime, you have to win some of those games, and we didn't do that.
What did you tell them in the locker room after the game?
Well, it's a bittersweet thing for us right now, for me as a coach, because I lose very hard. I'm very competitive. But as a coach, I just feel blessed that I have this group and have had a chance to be with this group. It's a special group that you don't have all the time as a coach, that you genuinely, it almost turns into a love thing. And then I know people at home, they think they can't believe that, but as a coach, and we played 120 games this year, these guys, the Huddy comes back and plays tonight when he shouldn't have. Taylor played 2 games when he shouldn't have. Conacher plays when he shouldn't have. You see Gretzky night after night. You see the kids night after night. It just becomes a special relationship between a coach and his players.
Any doubt you're back here in this spot in a very short time?
I don't think so, because with the 3 young guys in defense, and we've got some young guys in the wings, and I foresee all our older guys, maybe this will spark them and even make them better. The Currys, the Gretzkys, the Sandströms, all had the best years. Granato was, of course, that guy, seeing that guy play every night. So, and we'll make our team better this summer.
All right, Wayne Gretzky's season, no doubt he'll come back. Do you think he's revived his career?
Yeah, Gretz went through a tough time this middle of this winter, and I think the last 3 months he got the fun back. He was jumping tonight. He was great tonight, and he's got a smile on his face most of the time now, except when we lose, and he'll be back with a passion next year.
Gary, congratulations on a great year.
Thanks, Al. Thanks very much.
Back, Gary?
They like to say in Montreal, the Cup is back home. Everyone who cheers for the Canadiens considers this home for the Cup, the Forum, and the Montreal Canadiens have won it. It has been a delight this season for all of us at ESPN to be part of this 100th anniversary celebration of the Stanley Cup. Yeah, and joining us, of course, we're ABC Games. We are delighted to be part of that. We're going to be part of that for years to come, and in all likelihood, there'll be even more National Hockey League games coming up. Most of you know ESPN2 is going to be going on the air, and the National Hockey League's going to be a great part of that. And Bill, it's been great working with you.
Thanks, Gary. Great work with you as well. I really enjoyed the comments for the guys back in the studio. John Davidson's talking about the bright future of the sport of hockey. I agree with John, and especially Jim Schoenfeld's feeling that he will take the Stanley Cup loss that he incurred to the grave. I happened to play on the other side when Shoney was playing for the Buffalo Sabres. I won the Cup that year. Shoney lost it. The feeling that the Montreal Canadiens have right now will last a lifetime.
All right. We hope you have enjoyed it as much as we have at 11:15 on SportsCenter. Wayne Gretzky will be available at that time, and you'll be hearing from him. That's going to do it from the Forum in Montreal. The Montreal Canadiens have won the Stanley Cup for the 24th time over the Los Angeles Kings. I'm Gary Thorne. Good night, everybody.